Welcome back to Heroes CCL. We had a nice long break right there and a wonderful interview with Kyle Ferguson and Lauber from Storm Esports. As we're getting ready for that Storm Esports versus Oxygen matchup, in the break, I got to have a nice little snack, relax here, listen to a little bit of music, Pet Bandit. I'm curious, what were you two up to in that little break that we just had?
I was venting big time.
Venting?
I opened the windows because it was so warm.
Oh, got you. Sorry.
Venting, got it. Okay.
I was the come on and slam and welcome to the jam. I was putting some Space Jam PSD underwear on, just changing up the flow of the second series.
Okay,
wow.
you gotta freshen yourself up a little bit in between these series, and I mean they're very comfortable underwear, so I don't blame you. It's actually it's difficult to take them off because they're just so comfortable that you just always want to wear them. But
I don't want to talk about. Honestly.
I said it yesterday. I mean, it kind of feels like we're wearing nothing at all, but it's a great pair of underwear. We've got a great series coming up. Let's talk about HeroesCCL. We got a lot of really awesome action for you all right now as we are getting into this next best of 5. It's going to be Storm Esports versus Oxygen Esports. We had that, which I would say a little bit of an upset, 3-0 Chili Mountain against Diamond Hands. Just Chili Mountain insanely on point today, Grubby. But this next matchup, Storm Esports versus Oxygen Esports, what are you kind of looking forward to maybe coming out from the side of Storm?
Well, Storm Esports is sitting at a 4-1 score in this league standings right now, and Oxygen is sitting at 2-3. The fun fact is, Oxygen could still overtake Storm despite that. Rank 2 versus rank 6. If Storm loses the next 2 and Oxygen wins the next 2, this is where that would need to begin. But let's not indulge in fantasy too much. Storm is at 4-1. They're looking like a very, very strong team. We saw Lauber just now. Dayquaza, BBJ, Kepi, Ivy Tinks, all of them absolute juggernauts. And Kepi, kind of the one that brought the power of Mephisto into CCL. More and more teams are starting to play it as well.
Kepi's that standout player from Storm, but over on the other side of the battleground, we got Oxygen. And I got to ask you here, McIntyre, who's that standout player for you on this side?
I think the standout player for me, and one that I'm hoping to see more out of today, is actually going to be Medara. He's a range assassin player, I think, that has really just shown growth throughout the season, continues to improve, continues to play and kind of increase his hero pool, right? We continue to, he's got a very good Hanzo. He's one of the few Hanzos that goes Dragon Arrow as well. I think is that the one?
Dragon Strike.
There it is. There's 2 dragons. The striking of the dragon is definitely the one that Medara plays really well. That 20 talent, being able to do it over and over again in a team fight. I want to see more of him do things like that, right? Be creative. He also plays Orphea. We just saw Orphea Azurite playing that. So I'd love to see him utilize his hero pool. I think he has a really diverse one, and see if he can kind of show up today with that hero pool.
Both teams have outstanding players, and there's a lot of big names in both sides. I mean, BBJ Lauber from the side of Storm. You got Draded and Nasmus over on the side of Oxygen. And I agree with you. Like, there's a lot of talent and prowess from Oxygen. The big thing for me is the community members on the side of Oxygen that have really grown into Season 2 of CCL. You've got Heavy on that support role, and he is doing phenomenal, just really growing as a support player. I casted him back in a lot of grassroots scenes, and to see him in CCL is really rewarding, or at least really exciting for me. Same thing, Red Robot as well, a tank player coming up through the Storm League ranks and really showcasing their skill, growing from Season 1 to Season 2 for Oxygen. We'll continue this conversation with these players, but let's actually find out where we're going to go to for map number 1 in our second best of 5 of the day. This is going to be the map choice of Storm Esports, choosing to take us to Infernal Shrines. But if you're sitting at home wondering how we got to this point, Oxygen won the coin flip, opting for first pick priority, banning out Battlefield of Eternity, and Storm bans out Dragonshire for this series here. Infernal Shrines, I would say it's the tried and true start for any series here, Grubby. You have a lot of good rotations. Camp timings are on point. There's a lot of you can punish the enemy team in multiple different ways, whether it be macro, micro, or through the objective phase.
Yeah, exactly, and it's not reliant on some RNG of where the tribute spawns as much, though the Punisher location can kind of matter, but it's always in the center at least.
Mm-hmm.
The tributes are a real punch in the guts, as it can just start on the other side of the map. It's not as teamfighty as BOE, it's not as wave cleary as Garden of Terror, it's not as unforgiving as Sky Temple. Like you said, it's the standard skill testing barometer, a perfect opening map for this match.
We're into the draft right now, and as we're loading in here, I'm just curious, McIntyre, thoughts, gut check, expectations for either this map or maybe even just this series as we're kind of getting through some bans.
I think the one thing the question will be is will these teams allow the Stitches to go through, and what prioritization will they have on the aggressive supports? I know that Heavy plays a very good Stukov. I know that BBJ plays a very good Stukov. I also know that they both like Brightwing, and not everyone can have Brightwing. So it'll be interesting to see as these bans continue if the supports are targeted at all for that reason, or if they're just okay trading. Okay, you can have this one, and we'll take this one, right? And will Lauber go into the Diablo? Ooh, that Mephisto band coming out from Oxygen, doing their homework. As Grubby was saying, Kepi's definitely one to bring Mephisto to the table in the CCL, and Infernal Shrines definitely being the best map for the character.
Kepi has played a lot of... Oh, yes, please.
Guys, no Dequanza today.
Mm-hmm. It's a CPX coming in for the side of Storm Esports. The one I want to, because we talked about this a little bit in the last series, a little bit in the break. Raynor. Kepi has played a lot of Raynor in CCL, but since the changes came through, is Raynor just dumpster tier? Is he just not play? Like, okay, all right. Thank you for the answer.
That is the answer. He doesn't do enough anymore. He just doesn't. He was very close to not doing enough prior to the patch, and I think they tried to introduce new things to his kit while taking away some of the reasons why you would pick the character, right?
Okay.
A lot of his natural strength was taken away to give him cool utility talents, right? Like the activating Inspire every 12 auto attacks at 16. That's cool.
Activating Hyperion every death.
After you die.
They removed... you have to die for it. But they removed 11% auto attack damage.
Yeah.
That's like taking an orange and then taking away the fruit.
All you have is peels.
Yeah, just nothing. Peels are actually really good. I mean the whole fruit, like there's literally nothing.
Okay.
Raynor is auto attack, right? Like,
yeah.
And when you reduce that, he's just not strong anymore.
Yes.
I couldn't imagine peeling an orange and just being like, oh, there's nothing inside. What the heck?
Got reworked.
Yep.
These are empty oranges.
Unfortunately, I think that actually is Grubby. I think you put it perfectly. Raynor does kind of feel like that empty orange, or like when you go and you grab a beer out of the case and it turns out there was a hole and it's just an empty can, and you open it up and there's nothing inside to drink. It's just a sad moment. But I'm not talking about real world experience. It doesn't happen all the time to me. But McIntyres, they're getting into Infernal Shrines here. The draft has really exploded. Let me see. What are your thoughts here? Can you break it down for us? Who's maybe got the better draft?
So far, I honestly think both teams are drafting really well, right? We had the first pick, Hogger from Oxygen, really strong pick on the map. I think Nasmus plays a really good one. You can get those infinite Hog Wilds. Interestingly enough, Storm has opted to go the Vala early, right? Probably going to see a multi-shot build. And BBJ had the choice at Stukov after the Lucio was banned, decided to go the Malfurion. So this is kind of saying something about Malfurion and their team's priority on the support totem pole, right? Or maybe it's just a natural synergy with that Varian and the Vala being able to more or less keep a heal on them at all times, right? Whereas Stukov, while it is good to heal and he can definitely keep people alive when they get targeted, his heals do come out a little slow, right? You got to have them kind of pre-baked, ready to rock if you want that armor. Meanwhile, on the side of Oxygen, though, they've drafted really well after that first pick. Hogger able to pick up the Nubarak. We've been talking a lot about it. He really is becoming, and probably has always secretively been, one of the best tanks in the game. So having that early, Junkrat on this map, so good at the objective. The Hanzo on Medara, as I was mentioning, maybe we'll see the Dragon Strike, not the arrow. Can't shoot NA arrows if they're strikes, right? NA strikes. And then Heavy on Stukov, a breakout character for him. I think when I originally heard about Heavy, I think I went right to the Stukov. So I'd honestly say both of these teams are looking interesting. For me, it's going to be, is CPX a Leoric player, right? Will he get value on the character or not? That's going to be the question mark. For that reason, Oxygen victory here, game number 1.
Thank you for the insight, McIntyre, and thank you for your knowledge as always as we get into Infernal Shrines map number 1 in our second best of 5 of the day. On the left-hand side, we got Storm Esports. We're going to be seeing Kepi Vala, Lauber Varian, IB Tings on the Maiev, BBJ playing the Malfurion, and CPX on Leoric. For the right-hand side in the red, we're looking over at Oxygen Esports. We're going to have Medara on the Hanzo, Draded on the Junkrat, Nasmus on the Hogger, Red Robot on the Anubrak, and Hebi on that Stukov. As I look at both these drafts, I very much agree with McIntyre in this one, Grubby. I feel like Oxygen just kind of has everything they want for this map, and they've got a lot of really good tools on Infernal Shrines as well for the Shrine clear, wave clear, objective phase, defense, and even aggressive siege. What do you think getting into this map number 1?
Well, I think that Storm has just been really impressing with their play. Oxygen is up and down. I don't know what they're going to be today, but Storm has been really consistent. I would give it to them just based on power level. I like both drafts though. Maybe Oxygen's draft a little bit more. Varian tends to struggle when there's a team that dives on him, when there's multiple AoE things happening against his team, when he's not the one to start a fight. He can't stop everyone. That's why people have been taking this level 1 Lion's Fang quest, because hey, at least I can hit 3 people with a 50% slow rather than just playing completely mono-dimensionally off of this taunt combination that I have. And there is a Hager Horde bolt, there is a Riptire coming in, there's a Virulent Reaction Stukov can engage, and maybe it will be Dragon Arrow, maybe Dragon Strike. But when the fight breaks out, it's gonna break out big time with the Cocoon, with the Burst. I'm not sure Varian can stop that. For that reason, I would say Oxygen's draft a little bit more map appropriate. But you never know. I think Storm's power level will see them through.
This is a second dive onto IB Tings, who goes ahead and gets a short distance Spirit of Vengeance away. Red Robot and crew not able to burst down the Maiev just yet on this map. It is going to actually be the overpower for the Variant at level 1 when parry blocks a hero's basic attack. Heroic Strike cooldown is refreshed, and the next one deals 40% more damage. I kind of like this because it plays into the taunt talent at level 4.
Yeah, it's the best single target burst, but like I said, a little bit less AoE control against what Oxygen might be bringing. And it's hard for Varian actually to get his talents into the backline. Hanzo Junkrat should be way out of his range.
Yep.
X Factor here, IB Tings on Maiev. That's where they're bringing in basically a second tank. And I guess Leoric with a third. A second form of engage. And behind all that, the scaling of Vala, who has been playing very dutifully so far. Kepi has been taking camps at great pains because he has only got a single stack because he's playing the map.
4 extra damage. Hanzo scouts out into the top lane. BBJ taking a little bit of damage from Medara. Hebi floating around. Abby Tings is going to be around here as well. And you make a very good point. While Varian can't pull the backline forward, you do have things like an Umbral Bind from Maiev, Warden's Cage from her as well, and Leoric with the Entomb. So I like the adaptations coming in from Storm.
Top lane.
While they, top lane, yeah. Okay, no, Lauber's A-okay. I saw it on the minimap too, and I was like, Nasmus, Medara, can you find the kill? Not the case. On the note of stacks as well, Medara struggling a little bit with these simple geometry stacks as they've been playing the map as well. 1 stack on simple geometry, and Kepi is ahead in the race, albeit an infinite race versus a stacked race, but 3 stacks on this Vala right now, and we'll keep you up to date on those as the game does progress. But right now, Red Robot burrow charges away, using the unstoppable factor of that burrow charge to get out of the Umbral Bind.
Oxygen is just straight up giving up this shrine. Traded bot lane, Nasmus top lane. This is waves crashing into walls, and IB Tings is going to pick up the bot. Is there a small window where you can engage before the final 5 skeletons by Storm? 7 skeletons. Looks like they are playing off that window. They figure, hey, maybe we'll lose the skeletons, but if we can get a return kill, we can take away the real power.
It's close.
Of this Punisher.
5.
It's
3.
Very close,
They only
actually.
need 2 more. They only need 2 more on the side.
2-4, 2-4.
Oh, it's so close.
1-3.
Storm
to
gets
Storm.
it. Heavy, though, very low. Lauber dives in once again. Anubrak burrow charges in. Lauber very low, does go down. Red Robot is going to get traded out. It's a 1-for-1. Both teams finding their first blood almost simultaneously. But CPX is going to try and drain some health. Going to get poked at by Medara, but not enough to chase in. And the members of Oxygen need to clear out this Punisher through mid. But I do, I'm actually surprised that Oxygen almost got that. I wonder, was it the wave through bottom lane? If Junkrat didn't do that, would the race have been closer? Would it have just gone over to Storm? It's an interesting, like, I wish I could see like different timelines of just that choice right there and see the outcome, because it could have just been that bottom wave that actually got it so close. Or if Junkrat was there and Hogger was there infinite spinning, would it have just gone to the side of Oxygen? We'll never know.
On the other hand, if Ivy Things didn't pick up those 7 minions that Junkrat pushed, it would have been less close. And you look at all these micro things, and it's very easy to look at what the pros are doing and thinking that's probably right. We cannot understand or anticipate everything, but you wonder, is it worth it to give up the Punisher for 1 or 2 extra waves top and bot when talents are no longer at play? I mean, we're talking about the difference of level 7 versus 8, or 8 and 8 and a bit.
I've noticed that some teams go for this play as well, saying that the first Punisher, maybe it's because of the type being Mortar or whatever. Sometimes teams will actually go and do this tactic as well. They'll soak the top and bottom or the other corresponding lanes without the Punisher to get a little experience, but also to push in waves and find some initial siege damage onto these front gates for later Punisher phases. So there's also there's a lot of chess happening back and forth, maybe even 3D chess if you want to call it that. But the big thing to note, McIntyre said it in the draft, Dragon Strike from the Hanzo, not going to be the Dragon's Arrow, as the taunt comes out onto Red Robot. He's A-okay. Grubby, this is my hill to die on. Dragon Strike should strike the enemy team. Dragon's Arrow should summon a giant dragon. That's my 2 cents on it. I think the names need to be swapped, and I will always stand on that hill. Think about it.
I agree. I just thought about it. I realized you're right. I'm now angry on your behalf, and I'm going to write a petition.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I think you might have a little bit further reach into the developers than I might, so maybe we can get that changed. That's the 2021 goal for me.
Wouldn't be confusing at all either to change it at this moment.
No, just throw into the patch. No. I mean, we do that with the talent changes. You know, sometimes we reorganize the talents in like a 13 talent tier based on.
I remember that.
Yeah, so we still have those here and there. I'm just saying it's not that crazy. It's just, you know.
I think it's the single most important thing going forward.
Oh no, we don't need to fix Lucio. We don't need to fix Malfurion. We don't need to fix Joanna. You need to change the name of these abilities. That's what we need to be doing. Here's the Storm. But our next objective phase is opening up here, and the chat's heard a lot of us talking. Do you want to jump into some player comms for this objective?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's go into Storm.
In we go.
And maybe we can push top.
Yeah, I get one more.
We can.
Do I double or we all stay?
Just stay here.
You can stay. We can entomb something maybe.
Maybe you can entomb it?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, you can spin
Yeah, he
out.
still has porta pole. Yeah, I need to.
Oh, yeah.
Hanzo's coming down. I'm gonna anchor. You guys can keep pushing. I'll look for in 2 months. Yeah,
Oh,
watch
no.
me, watch me.
No, 2.
Fine.
Here, let's
Hanzo. I got
Okay,
2
go for the
Hanzo down
Hanzo.
here.
Okay.
Go for
Push
the
in, push in,
Hanzo.
push in.
He'd
Yeah, we can go to try now. We can
Hanzo
go to
jump
try.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hanzo
try and
no.
win.
Hanzo no.
Try.
On my way.
Should be win now.
Yeah.
You can get 13 too. It's nice for me.
I'll be forced out Junk. I'm taking this.
Yeah, you can eat them.
No, they might just push instead. I think they're gonna push instead, maybe. No, they're coming. They wanna fight still.
Okay, only have 13.
Yeah, we
Find a noob.
I can go set.
yeah, go top Leo,
Okay.
It's just pushing. Okay, fine.
Mid's gonna crash. I have to get top.
Yeah, we can get mid. It's fine.
For a brief second, the members of Oxygen considered stepping on this point, but the one thing that was the loudest thing that I heard from Lobber, or the best thing that I heard from him was, we got 13s. Like, and it's true. It's absolutely true. It was 13 talent tier advantage, and Oxygen was thinking about stepping in, but just couldn't even do so, as the second Punisher will be cleared out by the side of Oxygen through bottom lane, getting a little bit of value.
The minion XP is practically identical. When I checked it just now, it's snapshotted at less than a minion difference.
Oh my god.
That is incredible. It's so close. Rarely ever do we see it this close. The XP lead by Storm. Oh, hold that thought. They go for Heavy. Heavy gets nearly entombed. No, he gets rooted.
Rooted.
Big root on Heavy after an engage by Varian.
Riptire zones back the enemy team. Heavy with a couple hundred health. There's a root, a cocoon onto the very end. Vala taking actually tower shots, has to vault away. Kepi dropping quite low right now, but the bottom lane fort front gate will open up. Chattering Teeth with the big as. That means that the Chattering Teeth will only focus heroes. You can't have it baited into minions or skeletal defenders to just eat that trap. Meanwhile, I do want to talk about top lane real quick. That actually lost a lot of HP, and Leorc is going to show up there in a second. Actually, Leorc hasn't shown, and Medara is just ripping these Dragon Strikes off cooldown. I'm kind of loving it, and he doesn't even have the Dragon Awakens at level 20 yet.
Yeah, it's like a really big, slow Sonic arrow. It's Vision.
Vision with some damage and some zoning as Lauber eats a free trap. Hogger and Leorc just kind of matching out in the rotations as Hogger needs to catch the wave in top. This map's actually a little split between both sides, Grubby. Entomb way late onto Red Robot.
Yeah, and he had escape as well as Storm manages to probably invade this mercenary camp. That's a big root by Heavy. Hoo-hoo! Wait a second. Traded? Hidden agent for Storm. Concussive, I think he thought that was going to be like the last shot, or did I miss something? Because I think if he stays in that silence, maybe he dies. Oh, big Hortipult! Big Hortipult! Can he get Ivy Tinks? The Riptire does.
There was a containment disc onto Red Robot during that fight. BBJ does use the Tranquility to try and keep Draded alive. It doesn't work out, or excuse me, Ivy Ting's alive, and that will be another kill for the side of Oxygen Esports, who are going to start to form a little bit of a lead against the enemy team. Frozen Punisher will be next in mid lane. Both teams have kind of gotten some siege pressure in through those lanes, a little bit more so in favor for the side of Oxygen, or excuse me, for the side of Storm Esports, as they've taken on the front gate and probably 20 to 30% of that mid lane fort.
When I watch Oxygen play Heroes of the Storm, I often think of a football match, soccer if you will,
yeah, sure,
with a defensive formation, 5 defenders, 4 midfielders, just 1 striker. How Italy used to play in the World Cups. They're not really going for too many creative setup kills in enemy bushes, nor are they contesting too much. And this, I mean, that symbolizes it, right? Anubrak, check the bush, burrow charge away. They're like the most pacifist team I've seen. Good at macro, good at defense. Let's see if this actually develops to a bigger fight. Kepi takes Dragon Strike damage. He tries to get away from that vault. Unloading damage on the Nubarak. Nubarak with the burrow charge. A double kill. Malfurion and Maiev. Junkrat's damage coming through there. Oxygen turns from pacifist into murderers as they get kills here. CPX goes down as well. The Drain Light not enough to sustain him. The rate of life that he was losing was apparently greater than what he was gaining. Even though this is not an unmitigated victory for Oxygen, Bruiser Camp was pushing against their top fort, and it has gotten almost as hurt as Storm Esports' top fort already was.
Draded, though, with the spread launcher at level 16 was the MVP of that engagement, just getting so much burst damage initially into the face of Maiev and Malfurion, which chunked them after the initial setup, I believe, from a Nubarak. First Punisher for the side of Oxygen, third one of our game, and for anyone wondering, the Punisher currently slaps for 186, but into structures it deals 372 damage. That Punisher punches quite quickly too, so the amplified damage into structures could shred through this mid lane fort, as we have some Chattering Teeth zoning. Red Robot and crew are looking to just push back the side of Storm. We have a Leorc showing in top. Maiev might have shown in bottom as she was catching a wave down there. A Nubarak is actually kind of splitting the Maiev in her rotation, and the Punisher's left. Fort and bottom lane is going to be gained on the side of Oxygen. I actually really like this call. Not threatening on to keep, not trying to play too aggressive down the lane, and getting themselves on the side of Oxygen more structural value, maybe a periodic catapult pressure, but Heavy gets entombed. There's a concussion mine right behind him. The flailing swipe is used. Dragon Strike goes out. CPX is just chasing into this enemy team. Heavy getting very low. Wraithwalk from Leorc. There's a huge BBJ root, and that sets up the kill into the Stukov. Any counter kills from Oxygen? No, just a little bit of poke from Red Robot and Medara.
They were chasing that Heavy kill for so long, and they must be happy to get it. as he was entombed, he was rooted, he was taunted and everything. Tried to get away. They are going to try and turn. 4v5 Ford. Someone kill that damn Ford! It was still armor debuffing and attacking the 4v5 turn attempt. CPX in the backline, reducing enemy damage, doing his spooky walk and skeletal damage there. It's really close at this point. Kepi drops to 300 life. Bloom keeping him alive. Medara, the entomb! But it's Leoric that dies!
Traded is traded, and we see Red Robot so very low, getting a little bit of armor from the armor build, and he actually has the movement speed, gets the burrow charge with 30-something HP, and Medara with another big zoning Dragon Strike. Once we see that 20 come through, I mean, Medara's sitting at 20 HP as well. I gotta say, all of this happened because Oxygen wanted the fort in bottom lane. And it's Oxygen who lose their fort through bottom lane, and Storm Esports, without the 20 talents here, down a level, are actually the ones who come out on top of that engagement, in my opinion.
Yeah, it reminds me of a kid learning for the first time that when they hit their brother, that actually it hurts the brother. And they're like, you wouldn't like that, would you, when you try to hurt someone? That's what Oxygen was doing. They were going for the bottom fort. And now it's them that got hurt and crying after the little play fight between these two brothers. Such sibling rivalry.
I do like the live rivalry we're seeing here for this this map right now. Is it looks like it was actually it was an accidental pause, and literally no joke. Because I'm not trying to flame them, but it's just literally like it's just Kepi misclicked, and then you just see Kepi, sorry, and I know I can hear his voice, but we're back into the game. It was just a little accidental 3-2-3 on the battleground.
I was looking forward to technical issues. Are you meaning to tell me we got blue-balled on that? Well, okay, let's continue the game. Take it away, Baha.
20 talents here on the side of Oxygen Esports as we see the upgrade as we were talking about in the draft. The Dragon Awakens for the Hanzo Cannonballs for this Junkrat anchor management on the Hogger. The big one here for Anubrak is that rewind for 4 sets of CC. Burrow Charge, Impale. Burrow Charge, Impale is available. Stukov holding his 20. I would only assume it's Controlled Chaos.
Rewind!
There's the rewind value, and CPX goes down. It is a Leoric who can cheat death, but still, that's a kill. You're removing someone from the battleground. Unfortunately, that does give time for the minion wave to potentially take top lane fort. Does the minion wave? Oh no, the top lane fort doesn't go down. It's going to stay at like 743 HP.
Like 743.
I thought another minion would hit it. I was thinking, and then I realized Twitch chat can't see the number, so it doesn't matter. I could have said it's 14 HP.
Until I unveiled the curtains on that, and it was in fact exactly 743 HP, wasn't it, Bah?
I'm sorry, Twitch chat. You know what? We don't do it for every game, but you know what? This game's been so back and forth. Do you want to jump into comms for this next objective phase here?
Yeah, would love it. Let's hear from Oxygen this time.
In we go.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm ulting the point. Let's start walking in with it.
Oh,
take
the trap.
Kill Leo, Oh, silence him. Kill him and walk out.
Okay,
easy.
really good.
Watch right side. Just on point. We're shooting on point. I'm gonna cook.
Varian. I'm diving back line.
I'm on Varian right now.
I'm walking out. Play it slow, we're winning.
I'm ulting the left side.
Okay, really good. They have to play through bottom choke.
Yep. I have healing one.
Healing one, okay. Yeah, just play upside.
He's going in with Maya maybe? Nope.
We're winning Shrine. Maya's in. I'm boofing. Good swipes, okay.
Nice.
Just try and win Shrine, we're so close.
It's again, that'd be really close, boys. I'm ulting them again.
Okay.
Hitting Varian.
I'm going in.
We got Shrine.
Okay, just one Shrine.
This is the best choke. Can you walk up with me?
No cooldowns.
I'm getting one shot, I'm out.
Yeah, play with John Cena.
Leo respawn.
Yeah, I think he's good.
Big damage.
Leo's in. I have Leo.
Yeah, Leo.
Hey, walk up with Punisher.
Okay.
Do you have heals, Heavy?
Yeah.
Hog.
We got top keep as well.
Hold my ult at 4.
Game's ending.
I have ult as well. We can end with this.
Yeah, top's ending.
Do we walk past?
Defended it.
No, I think we
No.
We're a post team, yeah.
Visioning.
I have combo in too.
I need this.
Medara had 3 heroics during that entire objective phase, and a 4th one comes out. The top lane keep went down to the fallen shaman camps, and 40-some% came off this core, Grubby. This is crazy for the side of Oxygen.
Yeah, fantastic fight. Really close race again, though. Gotta hand it to
Punisher
Grubby and
jump.
friends there on a Storm after Leoric died. His untimely death, trying to set up a Buried Alive. They held on for dear life. They tried their best. Red Robot actually gonna go down here. Punisher, 45%. It looks like Oxygen loses their nerve to see this through to the end.
No, they just want another kill in Leoric.
Awkward. I'm ulting right side. Ulting right side.
That was actually huge. That was the 6th death of Leoric, and the Punisher won't end the game. Neither does the side of Oxygen. But man, that was actually close. A lot of damage onto the core right now as the Nasmus gets the Hog Wild away. CPX is slowing. Another flailing swipe from Heavy. Grubby, I have a quick question for you.
Oh, Kepi! Fireflight Quiver! Multi-shot, he took down the Hogger. He's still chasing. He's got a range of 8.2375 or so, just about there. Oh, wow, nice scatter on MyIntyre by Medara Uchiha, but another kill there on Junkrat.
Core top, core left, core left, core left.
Catapults. Moonfire!
Catapults hit for 754 into structures right now, and that's going to be... Wow. Oh my god.
Okay, I'm taking questions now.
Okay. Okay, this is what I wanted to ask because I noticed it in the comms and I wanted to ask you about this. Stukov hold controlled chaos until he used the flailing swipes. If you take controlled chaos, does that give you a reset onto your flailing swipes? Because I feel like I saw controlled.
Yes.
That's so why he's holding.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, they hold it because the first one puts it on a cooldown of 60 seconds. You get 3 swipes, but if you hold it, you can do 3 swipes. And then you pick the talent, then you do the 4th swipe, and then you do the 5th swipe, and then you're out of charges.
It was just, I was watching that in the comms, and I'm like, that's why Heavy was holding it. Okay, so now I know. I wasn't sure. It's like when you have big red button on Commandeer Odin, if you pick the talent while you're in Odin, you actually get the big red button in the Odin. You don't have to get a new recast of Odin. So it's one of those things. It's some interactions in Here's the Storm are very interesting. Yeah, absolutely. Hanzo and Kur are scouting things out. We have another objective phase in top lane. Frozen Punisher hasn't been announced just yet. That would win the game for... actually could win the game for either side because that top right forward on the side of Oxygen is, as we mentioned, around 700 HP. And so that is sneezable for a Punisher, especially we're 21 plus minutes at that point into the game. This is going to be what I feel could be the game-ending Punisher coming up in top soon.
Yeah, that's, I mean... Storm, it's tough for them, right? Like the dream for Storm is to find a Buried Alive on Stukov and on Hanzo.
Yeah.
And then kill Hanzo first. That's like the dream for them. But you think it would be possible because you can just spooky walk in, you get like 150% move speed with that. It lasts fairly long. You flank, you entomb. But it's not completely easy for Vala to step up that far. She's got Hager to worry about, Riptire, and Nubarak. And the main assassin here to confirm kills is Vala. 75,000 hero damage Vala. Even MyIntyre only has 28,000. And she's the second best. So it's all about Vala. Any engage is not going to be useful unless Vala is in range. Now, damage over the course of a game is not the same as what you can deliver in a fight. MyIntyre and Leoric can still pop off.
The fight will break out. Medara throws out one arrow. We currently have that Buried Alive, as you were talking about, from Leoric coming through. He's going to Wraith Walk through the enemy team. We do see the containment disc onto Hager. Draded gets chunked. He's going to go down first. Red Robot will go down as well. A double kill over to the side of Storm Esports. This is massive. This is humongous for the side of Storm. As I was sitting here doing a little bit of math, at the start of that engagement, Kepi's W did somewhere in the 635 damage from 1W, and that didn't... the taunt, yeah, I saw that, but that didn't include the arsenal, which is just under 300. So 1W with the grenade
1,000.
is like just about 1,000 damage, Grubby. That is absolute insanity from Kepi, who I feel like is really kind of controlling and turning this later game around for the side of Storm.
Yeah, just 1,000 damage multi-shots with a range of over 8. That's even more than Hanzo, who has 7.5 baseline. But on the other hand, Medara is like, why should I need all that multi-shot scaling? You have 84,000, I've got 106,000 hero damage, 20% more. And I've got an ult every 5 seconds. I'm ulting, I just want to join comms in here. I'm ulting left and right.
Just a Molten everywhere. That is a healing pathogen onto Hogger. Containment disc comes out. There's going to be the Dragon Strike from the Hanzo. Spread launcher from Draded, trying to force back the enemy team. Kepi taking a lot of damage. Riptire coming out from the Junkrat. That's going to go straight onto the Vala. She goes down. Punisher is at 79% HP. Catapults in bottom lane are starting to come through. Lobber getting very low. Does get the protection status with the scatter arrows, and Medara's damage is enough. Double kill for the side of Oxygen Esports as BBJ is on an island alone. Wraithwalk from Leorc is actually not going to be used, and that is a BBJ death. A CPX death is they don't even care about getting a CPX kill. Well, they should, because that killed the Junkrat, but all 5 members of the side of Storm Esports will go down. A domination from Oxygen, and Oxygen runs through the map, and this will confirm game number 1. Punisher still actually wailing its way through the keep in the top lane, but that's a great job of Red Robot right now on that Anubarak, saying, I don't do a lot of core damage, I can sit here and tank damage, so let me just bait the Punisher around our Hall of Storm area, and the rest of you go end the game. This should be a game, but here's the awkward thing, Grubby. The core shielding is taking a little bit longer. There it goes. Okay, the core is going to get shredded. Vala actually should respawn just as the core falls, and game number 1 goes over to the side of Oxygen. I gotta say, though, Grubby, the back and forth between both these teams, I don't think Oxygen won that over and just steamrolled through Storm. Storm put up a lot of really good team fights throughout Infernal Shrines.
Yeah, they did. And it was so Storm Esports to kind of be losing at some point, but then to win that level 20 fight, which I thought was going to cascade them to a victory, but not this time. Everything went horribly wrong for them while they were pushing in with the Punisher. Their final chance, they kind of got pushed against that wall with Kepi stuck, with loot hordes that were burning and slowing, the Riptire, Hanzo's damage. It was good positional control by Oxygen, and you can see that Dragon Strike unironically is zoning. It is how it is being used. By casting it in one place, you can guarantee scatters in another place to hit as you drive the enemy team into a wall. Medara showed some great Hanzo play. Oxygen played patiently, methodically, not faultlessly, but better than Storm in this first match.
Let's get McIntyre back in here, and I gotta get your thoughts on this one. Agree, disagree? What's the breakdown from Mac here?
Yeah, I mean, I think Grubby kind of hit it on the head. It's interesting. This is a great game to start a series between these two teams. But you know, Medara on that Hanzo. I like to joke that when I shoot Dragon Strikes, they are indeed zoning ults, right? And here we are using it in an unironic way to zone the other team in a direction. You pair that with the Junkrat and the, I call it shotgun. I'm not really sure what the 16 talent name is, but where you shoot
Spread
3
launcher?
grenades.
Shotgun.
I think it's Spread Launcher, is it? Or is it
Spread Volley?
Spread Volley, there we go.
Okay, so yeah, so pairing that, right, zoning them to one choke point and then allowing the Junkrat to then shoot, 12 grenades down that choke point is really great synergy between the two players on the team. But yeah, obviously Storm able to bounce back there in that top fight. I almost feel like we should dub the top shrine on Infernal like the boss pit, right? This is where teams seem to throw and lose games a lot more often than I think I even interpreted it originally, right? So Storm able to win a team fight there, but that defensive, that soaking ability that Oxygen continues to showcase throughout the game, right? Losing objectives and kind of losing nothing from those objectives that they lost just because of their defensive ability. Heavy showing up massively on that Stukov as he does, knocking, as you saw, Kepi against the wall over and over again. He was trying to vault out. He just couldn't find a way out with all the stuff all over the screen. Able to clean up the kill and win the game there, taking down Storm, game number 1.
That was Storm Esports' first loss in 5 maps, technically, on Infernal Shrines. They had 4 wins on that map, undefeated on Infernal Shrines, and I'm sure they were feeling quite comfortable going to that map as they were the ones who chose it. It's a little kind of scary when you lose your map choice and you've been so dominant on it in the past. Was it the solo lane? Was it just the engagements? We'll have to, that's a question for the ages. Maybe we'll check it out on Cavalier's breakdown breakdown as the week does go on. But let's go ahead and check out where we're going to for map number 2. This will be the map choice of Oxygen Esports choosing to take us to Towers of Doom. And another fun little stat as I got it open in front of me. Storm Esports has played this map 3 times, 3 losses. We've had 1 play from Oxygen, and it was 1 win. They also, though, did play a Stitches composition with some Lost Vikings. So I'm sure that's in the back of the mind of Storm Esports as we're getting ready for Towers of Doom, Grubby, that they have to consider these Vikings on the side of Storm Esports or pick it up. Now, as I look at the Storm roster, I don't know if that's really towards their playstyle. I don't feel like Storm likes to go into that realm of, you know, the Lost Vikings and then we just all push a bottom lane. I feel like they just don't play that style. I haven't seen it from Storm, I feel.
Yeah, and I don't know if Dayquaza does that, Baha. And I'm definitely not sure if
CPX.
If CPX
I don't think he's got a Vikings. I do not think so. Unless there was some practice during the week that we don't know about, or there's been some secret strats. But it's one thing to consider because Oxygen loves to go to Towers of Doom and innovate, albeit they've only been to the map once this season, McIntyre.
Yeah, I mean, it's a map where, like you said, the Stitches was really good. And as we saw in the last game, Storm's done their homework on that. Not going to allow it. Also kind of saying that they don't want to play it. They are first pick. There's a world where they do not ban it, force Oxygen to ban it or get it. So that is one thing to notice. But the Tychus response is really good. I think that Storm has had a lot of success with the Tychus. So this is, again, Oxygen kind of doing their homework as well as we move into this draft. Yeah, I don't really think that CPX has any Vikings gameplay in the back pocket hiding away to utilize here in this match. So expect more out of Storm to play very standard stuff. Again, that Leoric last game. I do like this Hogger ban adjustment. Nasmus was kind of going out of control on the Hogger last game. And so this is kind of an adjustment to that, right? Let's not allow it and see where we can go from there with CPX in the offlane.
Doesn't Nasmus have a really good Dahaka in their repertoire? Or am I thinking of someone else completely?
Way back in the day. It's definitely not a character that he can't play. He has a very flexible hero pool. So it is something that we could see. I do think that this is a great pick from Storm, though. IB Tings on that Sylvanas has just continued to dominate on it. A lot of teams even banned it against them. So first pick coming out on that Sylvanas, I think it's a great decision for Storm.
Good start for a Storm roster as a Nubarak Junkrat will be grabbed once again on the side of Oxygen. What are you thinking here, Grubby, as the draft's unfolding?
Yeah, I think that's strong. Very likely Storm might have wanted that Nubarak themselves going up next. Not just because of Diablo's results recently, but I do think Nubarak is one of the best tanks. You would rather have him than Diablo. And what really is left? Gonna go with the Muradin here. Lauber, old school player with old school tanks. Muradin gets really powerful once you have 25 quest stacks on his Stormbolt. Before that, he's really hit and miss. After that, Piercing Bolt, CDR, and Mana Return is nice. And he's quite likely to survive whatever blow up the tank things that Oxygen might want to do.
You could go into that Sledgehammer at level 4 that really amplifies those stacks quickly. Lauber actually likes to play, he's innovated to hit the Muradin build with the Dwarf block at level 1, if I'm not mistaken, and I've actually seen him do that a lot. He's gone to a lot of the Dwarf toss talents, kind of being very mobile with that, so I've liked his adaptations. There will be the ban onto Brightwing from the side of Oxygen and a target ban onto Heavy Stukov. What is the priority now for the side of Oxygen? Is there a Malfurion? Is this going to be Deckard Cain?
Yeah, I was going to say this is kind of unlocking possible Deckard Cain, and it's also asking Oxygen, as you said, do you want Malfurion? They don't. Neither does Storm. I think that's kind of interesting, right? What's he? It's you?
Yeah. Did y'all know that they mocapped my face for the Kerosene skin there? That's me.
Yeah, it looks really similar.
I thought you were talking about the Deckard Cain, but yeah, they both.
Oh, I mean him too. Yeah.
Okay.
They're all me. I mean, if we get Falstad, that's me as well here. No, it's gonna be a diva. Ooh, so hyper carried. That is actually Grubby. I believe we have a couple YouTube thumbnails with your face actually with that. But either way, McIntyre, what are your thoughts on these drafts? Because this is a hyper carry Junkrat.
Yeah, it's main damage dealer Junkrat. You get to see the Nasmus Dahaka as well that you had kind of shouted out. And this is a game that has no Malfurion in it at all, which is interesting. He's been so contested so far in the season. I'll be interested to see how the Kharazim does do. I will say that I really do like the aggression from the side of Storm, right? This is a lot of CC, a lot of damage, a lot of in your face. Right, we have the Arrow, we have the Sylvanas wailing, we have the jump Storm bolts coming out from Lauber. Meanwhile, the Oxygen, again, kind of as we were remarking the previous game, very defensive, very controlled team, right? Lots of wave clear, lots of defensive stop you from blowing our team up, right? The Diva Shrink Ray, the Junkrat Mines, and then Deckard as well with the Scroll of Sealing, locking things up. I'm going to give it to Oxygen. I think their momentum's working in their favor right now. This comp seems really good. We'll see if the Junkrat is able to put out enough damage, though, to kill the side of Storm.
Alrighty, McIntyre, thank you for your analysis, and we'll see you after Towers of Doom as we are here ready to go into our second map and our second best of 5 of the day. On the left-hand side, we got Storm Esports, Lauber on the Muradin, BBJ on the Kharazim, CPX on the Sonya, IB-Tings on the Sylvanas, and Kepi on the Hanzo. Over in the red, Oxygen Esports. Nasmus will be playing Dahaka. Red Robot on the Anubrak, Draded on the Diva, Heavy on the Deckard, and Medara on Junkrat. Ooh, so a little bit of a change up there with the Medara Junkrat now. And I'm sitting here, Grubby, and I'm unsure. I'm really unsure of my decision, but I'm going to go with my gut, and I'm going to say I'm going to think this is an Oxygen win. It is going to be very difficult for Oxygen to burst down, but I feel like their control and their sustain is very good, and I think that's the big winning factor for this team. What do you think getting into this Towers of Doom game?
Well, yeah, Oxygen looked a little stronger. Oh, that thought, they're going for Muradin. I said he can survive moments like this, and so far he does. He's gonna bring the fight back to them. Red Robot, he's gonna go down. Nice kill confirmed there by Lauber, Kepi, BBJ, and IB-Tings. You know, I think I'm just gonna go with Storm this time.
All right.
The strength of Oxygen notwithstanding in the last game, but I gotta be honest here, embarrassing maybe, but I don't get it. I don't get Oxygen's draft. I don't. Like, this is not picking double solo laner early on to deny 2 highly contested ones. Diva, Dahaka. This was like last pick almost, both of them, right? I don't get it. I get that you want to provide many 7-sided strike targets so that any one tank doesn't get blown up by it. You get lots of CC against a team that kind of dives, like Merlin, Kharazim, Sonya. But it's not all dive. There's still IB-Tings and Hanzo there in the backline, Sylvanas and Hanzo. I think Storm takes this one.
I am seeing a few setups here that I'm maybe expecting from the side of Oxygen. You got the Steel Trap, you got the Scroll of Sealing, you've got double CC from Red Robot on Anubrak, you've got Tongue Drag from Dahaka, and I feel like a lot of that is going to be played around Riptire from Junkrat. It's also going to be played around the Mech Explosion from Draded, but IB-Tings is not going to be able to trigger the Haunting Wave, though Lauber is able to anchor and take some damage. Now, Grubby, I'm going to say a crazy thing here. I talked about all that lockdown. Is there a world where Medara goes into Rocket Ride? It was buffed. It does deal like 1,400 damage plus the total mayhem damage, so like somewhere in like the 1,800 damage from a Rocket Ride plus the total mayhem. Am I crazy to think that that is a possibility here with just the chain lockdown from the side of Oxygen?
I'd say dreamer, you're nothing but a dreamer. Okay. And I'd like to see you put your hands in the air. While it's true and it got buffed and it does a lot of burst, then he's gone.
And also,
like he's not there anymore, and he's the only DPS on this team.
That's a very, very good point, Grubby. Actually, now that you're educating me, but also it's gonna be not Grubby. It's gonna be Junkrat who's gonna be scaling his frag launcher. Diva. She just boosts away. I was gonna say she gets dove in mid, but she's absolutely fine. And Diva kind of waddles her way in the mech to that right side channel. Sonya on the left, but that might be interrupted by the Dahaka. We could see a contest over that. And yeah, there was a tongue drag onto Sonya. She's delayed out. CPX at below 50%. Nasmus going for the channel, but IB-Tings comes up into that top to delay things out. So it's a 2v2 up in the top, 3v3 around this center objective. And Grubby, the big question to you right now is, can I put my arms down?
Okay, sure.
Thank you.
Sure, and I had still been thinking about that rocket ride, man. What if you do get that and you get the level 20 rocket mount, and you're just using it to fight and then go back and play macro and rotate and get another altar.
Just maybe.
What if that's actually the plan? Because I already admitted I didn't get the draft. Maybe that's it. But then again, Medara, he's a CDR and a stack junkie. He loves Hanzo, he loves Dragon, Strike, resets. And I just knew he's going to go for that level 4 taste for explosions. I feel like I get him. I gel with his style. And, you know, if he rocket rides, that's fewer stacks. Because he's not there to get more Q stacks.
But, Grubby, you do have Total Mayhem at Dirty Trickster at level 7, which actually gets the double trigger on Rocket Ride. I'm just saying.
Dude.
I
know.
want to live in this world, but we'll have to see. Oh, Durated's not able to get the boost in, but the fight will break out. There's going to be a mech explosion. Lobber's going to be split from the friendly side. He actually goes through the dwarf toss over the wall rather than rotate through the bush, because I think Lobber was expecting there to be a steel trap. Though we have a brush stock in from Dahaka. That's going to be right next to Ivy Tings, who does get hit by the scrollless ceiling and the Junkrat steel trap, and Red Robot now trying to back off. Nasmus and crew are able to disengage. This is objective still stalled out by Decker Kane Heavy with a Haragic Cube. Scrollless ceiling will catch the toe of BBJ. Wow, the stall is really good around this second objective phase.
A nice triangle there by Heavy, getting that perfect tip of the triangle to get the interrupt. And so the beat goes on, the objective goes on. CPX returns back to top lane with Sonya to match D.Va, having cleared mid. XP very, very similar. BBJ gets a few punches in. We have the auto attack W hybrid built by Kepi. He knows that in order to work his way through these 3 frontliners, not counting Decade, he needs to get a lot of damage in, and he wants to do that with the reliable auto attacks and scatter resets.
With the Dahaka and Brightwing being grabbed on the side of the D.Va and the Dahaka being grabbed on the side of Oxygen Esports, they can do quick rotations around the map and actually force Sonya to make not faster rotations, but kind of put her in an awkward spot where she might miss a little experience or has to kind of catch the wave just at the front gate. So I think there's a little bit of play coming in, as we do still have our second objective phase being delayed out right now. It's 36 to 30. Actually, I'm sorry. I thought this was the second objective. Grubby, this is the first objective phase still, as Hanzo rips an arrow into the face of Red Robot. Nasmus gets the brush stock in, pops the adaptation. It is going to be, or no, it's an isolation. I thought I saw a glimmer around him, but we have an isolation onto BBJ. Wailing arrow from Sylvanas comes out, and it is a Riptire Junkrat. Stay a while and listen. IB Tings is going to be able to walk out. Riptire literally right next to Kepi as he gets the agility over the wall and meets a Dahaka on the far side. That's going to be a double kill over to the side of Oxygen. And finally, the first objective phase ends. I realized it was the first objective phase because it's 36 to 36. We haven't had the third alter channel. Heavy gets that, and we now see it 32 to 36. The map slightly in favor for Oxygen Esports.
I finally get it. It's a stalling comp of a Nubarak, Junkrat, and Decade with the perfect tip of the triangle, getting the interrupts, the impale, the taste for explosions, the frag launcher. You said it, man. They're stressing CPX, Sonya's ability to rotate and pick up all the XP by having 2 solo laners that could even double lane. D.Va and Dahaka both are capable of doing that. But by simultaneously pushing those waves, you disrupt the perfect synchronicity of the 2 duo laners just cleaning up IL1, IL2 over and over and over. And D.Va is mid, Dahaka top, so they can join in a boost and a brush talk, and suddenly it's 5v4 repeatedly.
Big damage onto IB Tings in bottom lane. Now we have a cocoon onto this Kerosene. He gets the 7-sided strike. We actually had Murden interrupting the Junkrat Riptire. The taste for the Total Mayhem almost getting the kill into BBJ, but he's able to get the dash away, but now Lobber should be punished for his actions, and he will go down to the micro missiles of D.Va. And I honestly think that this was not good because Sonya might get picked off as well. Staggering out of death just before this objective phase is coming out, a double objective phase, is awful, and CPX will go down. BBJ being chased right now. Red Robot is in there. Taking some shots actually is going to be Draded. Draded will lose their mech. Sylvanas trying to throw out some damage, but this double objective phase should go to the side of Oxygen with the 3 kills they just found.
Really nice job by Oxygen, just creating like superior fights all the time, where they have more people in the fight, and then when Sonya comes down, Dahaka waiting for her right there, drag tongue to get her to low health, force him to commit to use leap to get out or to go in. CPX chose in, and that was a fateful decision that ended up netting him a death, as well as BBJ, who tried to save him. Oxygen, I get it. The draft. Normally, you look at this, you're like, we don't have enough damage. But they're playing macro on a map that usually you don't macro this much up. You don't macro this much. We see two types of Towers of Doom, Baha. Bottom lane focus, 4 people bot, both teams. Or our 4-man is worse than theirs. Let's go top instead. Oxygen is doing near. They're doing the 1-1-3 spread and then collapse like an accordion all to the center point of the altar with all 5. And then they release again.
They open up the map once again, and they can collapse in as well. You can actually kind of see this happening right here, that accordion factor, as an arrow will just teep towards next to Medara. He gets the concussion mine split. A new Brat comes in with the burrow charge, sets up some damage into Lobber. Murden does have the avatar form available. Cocoon onto this Sylvanas. We have a Riptire from the Junkrat. CPX spears in onto Medara, triggering the Dirty Trickster. Stay a while and listen, pauses things. Lobber is able to get themselves the avatar form kicked off. His trait kicks in. Kepi has some level 1 stacks, but CPX gets caught out once again, and that'll be another kill over to the side of Oxygen Esports with a double altar phase coming up. Oxygen Esports are finding these kills just perfectly as the objective phases come up. I actually don't know if I'm the biggest fan of grabbing this camp. I would rather see Oxygen rush towards top lane, set up for both altars, but either way, we'll see Dahaka on the right, Murden on the left. Maybe, I think
Maybe just 1-for-1. It's so hard to grab it against Hanzo.
You do make a good point. It's a really good spot for Hanzo as well. There's a lot of scatter value. You make a, I'm in the, you know, I'm riding the high of Oxygen for them, and I'm just like, yeah, go!
Dude, every now and then I try it again with the team where you are ahead, you've got 3 people down, and you just start working on that particular altar, and it's hard. Oh, he pretended to leave Red Robot, but he actually did a mini charge on Muradin. Bit risky, took a big arrow. There's a leap. There's a lot of damage, but it's not quite lethal.
Cocoon did go out onto CPX. There's a stay a while and listen. Nasmus gets an insanely good brush stock and tongue drag. The Riptire gets the kill into Kepi. Some stacks are going to be lost onto Kepi. Diva chases in with some micro missiles. The fort through bottom lane is about 30-some% as Dahaka comes in once again. The flank tongue drag will connect onto Lobber. He's trying to dwarf toss away in avatar form. We have the Medara Riptire jumping around as BBJ is just being chased here. Gets the block totem over the wall. Concussion Mine actually helps Ivy Tings disengage. And this is just falling apart for Storm. They forgot their umbrella, it feels like.
Yes, yeah, it looks like this was perhaps even a French umbrella that has been helping them so much. A parapluie, if you will. Maybe this shows how strong Dequasa has been all along on the side lane. We have a 4-1 team here on Storm, 4-1 in match score, and they're getting their behind handed to them by Oxygen in 2 straight maps, from what it looks like so far, by a 2-3 match score team. Oxygen. Oxygen is showing new creative strats again, just like we were used to from Season 1. But I gotta hand it to them. Their coordination this game looks really clean, Baha.
I would absolutely... I would agree with you on that. I couldn't think of the right word for it, but it's 5 shots into the side of Storm, and Red Robot and crew just continue to hang around this left side of the map. It's not their side of the map per se, but they have the bell tower in their favor, which allows them to just sit here while Dahaka double soaks, pushing the friendly team closer to 20 talent tier. We only have 2 levels to go for the side of Oxygen, who have this 2-level lead. Like, a 2-level lead in CCL, that's big for a team, and that's the one thing that I want to just also make note of. While the members of Storm are getting their butts slapped, as we've said, Oxygen are showing up, and they are just so synchronistic in every decision they're making. Even just the disengage moments to be able to make sure that Red Robot's able to disengage and not get poked down by Kepi. It's just good synergy, good communication, at least through all this. As we have another engagement from Red Robot as Draded's working on the camp. Lobber dwarf tosses in. Was it a mistake? Big arrow from Hanzo. Huge stay a while missing from Heavy. Riptire looking for a target. Murden pops the avatar form. He's isolated isolated. He's got nowhere to go. He's going to get booped around, and I cannot believe it, Grubby. Lauber lives with 100 and something HP.
160 life, he jumps away. A single auto attack from Junkrat would have knocked him off his perch, but he survives, and his second wind is helping heal him back. First kill in all of that. Oh, traded with 25 HP. BBJ 100 or so. It's very close here. We have equal talents, 15 to 32. Storm is definitely up against it, but they're just gonna try and rush off this fort and then see if maybe they can get 2 out of 3 altars. You would think that they can get at least 1, but I think they need more. No, you know what? They're just coming as 5.
So Dahaka should get top, left, and right. Bottom lane will be contested. Lauber comes in with the big storm bolt. We do have a lot of damage on the BBJ in the back line. Heavy is trying to work his way out of this. There's a lot of potions on the ground, but there's not enough floor juice for the old man as Lauber is able to dwarf toss away. The 7-sided strike comes out, but the Kepi and Lauber and BBJ and CPX will be falling here. That is a Deckard Cain for a pentakill. Cocoon onto IB Tings. I don't know if
Let's see if they get her.
Yeah. So
ladies and gentlemen, target destroyed. It is indeed a pentakill.
You go for both. You go for this bottom lane. You go for top left with Junkrat. You go for bottom center with Dahaka, and then he brush stucks in. No, he doesn't have for 38 seconds, but he walks his way in. Exactly. You go boss, and you go GG. Can you believe this though? Like the innovation, the play, the communication. We didn't get into the comms in this game, but I feel like we can see it, the communication on this map, and Medara and crew are doing an amazing job in this best of 5 series. This is huge for the side of Oxygen to go up 2-0 against the side of Storm Esports in this best of 5 series. This is GG, insanely well played by Oxygen, Grubby. I don't have any other words, but just amazing, good job, awesome, congratulations.
Totally agree with you, Bahamut, and I have a few more words to add there. We almost ran out of words.
Yeah.
We're on really short supply here, but these are the following words that we have purchased and are able to sell to you right now, viewers. Storm Esports with a 4-1 match score, 6+ map differential. Oxygen -4 with a 2-3 score. If Oxygen wins both of their next matches 3-0, like this one and next weekend, they will be +2. If Storm goes 0-6, they will be +0. Their match score will be identical, and therefore Oxygen will finish over Storm. Oxygen would need to win the next map and then 3-0 Diamond Hands. Not impossible. And Storm would need to lose the next map and then go 0-3 against 30k. Again, not impossible. It is far-fetched, but if overtaking Storm is what Oxygen wanted to do to get a top 3, perhaps this would be the way. They're on the tracks to it.
McIntyre, is the train rolling down the tracks for the side of Oxygen, or will Storm Esports derail the momentum Oxygen has put forward?
Yeah, I think right now Oxygen has kind of all the momentum. Definitely a dominant performance in this game again. As Grubby has mentioned, the fate is still in their hands, and they're definitely playing their cards to their advantage. If they do want to finish in that top 3 position, this is a great way to do it, right? Start the series off against Storm 2-0 and possibly ending it in a third game here would be a great direction to head to get to that 3rd place spot. So definitely agree. I mean, it's interesting. Storm, opting to go the more aggressive route this game with their composition, trying to pick up the Murden, pick up the Karazim, and bring the pressure into Oxygen. But I think that plays exactly into what they love to play against, right? They want to be the defensive team. They want to counter engage. And they had so many tools to do it, right? Stay a while and listen, the rip tires, the defense matrix from the Diva, all of these things as, the side of Storm pressed into them, continued to play into Oxygen's strategy, able to win the game, control the map, win all the lanes, in my opinion. It was a very one-sided game. And I will say that I think one thing that I wanted to highlight is Medara's level 7 talent. While we memed it and Rocket Ride would have been very cool, I continue to see, he would get dove, the Sonya would even leap him, and then the grenades would drop on the ground and blow Sonya to 60% of her health, right? It's a really effective tech talent choice that again, playing into the fact that Storm is being the aggressor, they're pushing on top of the side of Oxygen. And how do we create damage that we may need because we've gone solo Junkrat? And a tech talent like that, I think, is a cool choice. And I'm happy to see him getting to play these unique things, as this is something that I really wanted to see today and was hoping for.
With the chain CC potential from the enemy side, with the Ancient Spear, the Stormbolts from Muradin, it was a very good talent choice at level 7 that amplified the damage output from the side of Oxygen. They will be able to take that second map, Towers of Doom, in a fairly strong fashion as well. It was 0 to 32 HP at the end of that game. The members of Oxygen only losing 2 bell towers in total on that map, which is not an easy feat in HeroesCCL. And we're not done just yet. We're going to get ready for game number 3. It could be the final game of the day if Oxygen sweep the members of Storm Esports. We're going to take a short break. In that break, I encourage you to hit ! prize pool to get yourself over to the Custom Match Reno page. If you'd like to donate towards that prize pool, it's always very appreciated, as we've hit $12,209.20. Someone get rid of that 20 cents, please. As we are going to take that break, we'll be back with Oxygen versus Storm Esports. Will it be a 3-0 or will the series continue on? We'll find out in a little bit. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and Murlocs to HeroesCCL. We are setting up for what could be our last game of the day, and I'm looking at the clock. It's only 4 o'clock for me. Like, can we just, hey, production, can we just make this a best of 7 so we can get a couple more games? Is that a possibility? No, okay, it's not going to happen. That's the second time production has denied Twitch chat some fun. We tried to get all 10 players into a room to listen to them all communicate, and production was like, no, we don't like to have fun on CCL, and now we can't just change the series into a best of 7 in the middle of a series. What kind of BS is this? I'm gonna have to bring this up in my weekly meeting. But either way, welcome back in, everybody.
Remember that one time when we were like, hey, production, can we have some awesome games with professional cast and just like everyone having fun? And they were like, yes. That was like the only time they were like, yes.
It's true, it's true. You know, they redeem.
Not that bad.
They can redeem themselves here and there. And, you know, thank you to production for everything you do in the background to make HeroesCCL so smooth and actually beautiful. And we do want to take that second to do that. And you know what? We can showcase how awesome production is by taking you over to the map and look at these graphics. Anyways, we're going to be heading whoosh, boosh, as we have Oxygen choosing to take us to Cursed Hollow for map number 3. McIntyre, what are your thoughts going to Cursed Hollow here? Is this just playing right into the hand of Oxygen, or do you think Storm Esports, they got something building here in the background should go into this map?
Yeah, I mean, I think Oxygen taking us to Curse is a good map for them. They play the Vikings, right? They play the Abathur. These are the characters I think that you really want to be able to utilize on a map so big like Cursed Hollow. Also, it's a map where I think if you play defensively and kind of play your cards right, you can get to a point where you execute and the dominoes begin to fall, right? We talked about it yesterday, the combo breaker of sorts in fighting games. You can do a punch, you can do a kick, but if you do all of them succinctly with each other, then you can really deal damage, right? And even end the game. So I think this map is perfect for Oxygen. Definitely what they want to be doing, where they can set up all those pieces again and then start the show off, right? Whereas Storm is much more of, I guess, a chaos team, right? They really do love to make things happen when the other team's not prepared and ready for it. And so I think we're seeing a clash in styles here, one being stronger at the moment than the other.
What I'm learning from this right now, McIntyre, is apparently in fighting games, you don't just mash a bunch of buttons and put someone into the corner and just mash more buttons or just sweep kick them for 20 minutes until they fall over. It's a lot more than that. You need to push a lot more buttons in a correct order, which is, that's a crazy concept to me. I'll try that on my Storm League day this week for Heroes of Storm. I'll try and push the buttons in maybe some sort of succinct order to maybe get some sort of value. I usually just throw abilities at minions, and I don't know, it's been working fine for now. As we do see Harstukov and the Tychus being banned out. Grubby, I want to get your thoughts going into Cursed Hollow, expectations from either team or even just going into the map. What are your thoughts here?
Well, I think that Oxygen could go for Stitches, and if Storm is not willing to pick it, that's a big weakness in current meta. That's what they showed on Towers. This is still a pretty good Stitches map. Maybe top 3, Cursed Hollow, Tomb of the Spider Queen, Towers of Doom. maybe that has to be a ban if you don't want to lose to that. On the other hand, you've lost to so many other things so far. You're already 0-2, and Anubarak was part of that twice. It's worth a try.
Will this be? Yeah, we're kind of in that situation where it's hey, do you want to play against Stitches or ban him? So is this a lob or Stitches? Because you gotta grab it right here. Okay, it's a BBJ Lucio.
Oh.
We actually were discussing this at the top of the show. Well, I guess before the show started, we were discussing how Lucio's really fallen off in priority. Is it because Mixing Fire is bugged out and banned out?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right, well, thank you. That's it for me. All right,
That's
autopilot. Thanks. Take it away, boys. I'm just gonna chill.
Well, he was like, if you took it from a 20-second cooldown to 14, and you can now hit enemies, and it costs a little bit less mana, like that would still be really good. Like if it wasn't bugged, it would still be good. But you're literally not allowed to use it that way because it is a 6-second cooldown on the Mixing Fire by bug. Like it's so good that you used to be able to remove 50% amp heal from people. And now it's still, 30%? Still very strong. It gives an unstoppable and a heal to Lucio every time. It matters. Having said that, not every game gets decided at 20. It is a big part of the draw, but he's still good. But I agree. Even I stopped first picking him in my Storm games as well because I didn't use Mixing Fire that much. I agree. But it's still a good pick, though. And like Cursed Hollow is one of his best maps.
So there's a lot of wall riding to be had. There will be actually a Dahaka ban, and I like that ban quite a bit from Oxygen McIntyre, getting rid of that global threat, because right now, Storm Esports, their mobility is amplified by Lucio, but that's really about it. You got some Grey Mane dives, some Diablo shadow charges, but Lucio's the only thing speeding you around the map.
Yeah, I think the Dog is a good ban too, just because I think he provides CC in a different direction, right? Diablo always pushing things away, typically. Dahaka is going to be able to pull things towards him. Another character that does a great job of that, though, is going to be the Stitches Red Robot, locking it in with the Sylvanas, too. Another potential mind control, pulling towards your team instead of away. I like these two picks, the Brightwing being able to protect that Hogger as well in the offlane. We'll see how Storm responds to that here. They do need to take a solo laner. We saw game number 2, they banned the Hogger out against Nazimus, and now here in game number 3, he gets it back.
Ooh.
Yes, I was thinking CPX Medivh, it's gonna happen.
This is
He's
good.
got to play it. He's got the courage for it. It's gonna be Medivh into Stitches. There's 3 ways to counter Stitches: Hook, Slash, and Gorge, right? There's a Portal, there's a Force of Will, there's a Leyline Seal. And then Malthael, we haven't seen him all that much into Stitches. We keep talking about how Stitches can get back like 50% of his health pool with his Hook and his Devour. Malthael tries to end him before he does that with Last Rites.
Also, it's got anti-heal too at level 7, right? Not a lot of characters in the game have anti-heal early. You were even just mentioning Lucio, unable to use the anti-heal at level 20 because of the bug, but Mathiel bringing it at level 7 is going to do a great number to the Stitches, not only from his own self-sustained, but the Brightwing Zing in, right? That percent heal that she provides if the Mathiel has the anti-heal and uses it at the correct time will stop a lot of the sustain that the character has. But we are going to see the Junkrat last pick there from Oxygen. Again, they're going to be able to create space against Storm's comp, but I do like this so much more. As you mentioned, a team confident in the Medivh pick. We haven't seen it today at all, especially in response to the Stitches showing up with the Diablo. I continue to mention I don't like Diablo without it, and here it is with it. I'm gonna give this game to Storm because of that. We'll see how Mathiel does, but the Junkrat Oxygen is kind of on a roll. We'll see how the series goes. Yep, Storm takes this one.
Alrighty, McIntyre, thank you for the breakdown, and maybe you'll be right. Maybe we do continue in this series, and we don't need to make it a best-of-7 series. Let's see what happens here in Cursed Hollow as we're loading on into the map. We've got Lauber on the Diablo, CPX on the Medivh, BBJ on the Lucio, Ibitings on the Malthael, and Kepi playing Grey Mane. That is going to be your Storm Esports roster. Over on the right-hand side, looking to close out the series in a 3-0 fashion through Cursed Hollow, we got Oxygen Esports. We got Draded on the Junkrat once again, Nazimus on Hogger, Red Robot playing the Stitches, Medara on Sylvanas, and Heavy to Hoot on that Brightwing. I'm actually leaning into an Oxygen win on this one. I feel like they've just got the momentum. Stitches is such a massive X factor. While I do agree that there are Medivh factors and healing reduction from Malthael last rites, a lot of just stickiness from Malthael. You've got some peel from the polymorphing Brightwing as well as the concussion mines from the Junkrat. So I'm thinking Oxygen closes this out this series out here, Grubby, in a 3-0 fashion. What do you think as we have a little bit of a scuffle, tuffle over mid lane?
I think CPX Medivh is going to be the key here. If he can have a good game and get some Force of Will portal saves and to portal Diablo in at the right place at the right time, I think that's the it's what I love to see. And we also have Kepi coming out here with his Greymane, which
hi BBJ, bye bye.
BBJ,
no, he's fine. He's got healing. Wait, yeah. Stitches slam on the right. Wait, Stitches is looking.
Any slammers? Any slammers?
It's oh no. Well played, BBJ. Well played. Well played, BBJ. We were just doing a little bit of the game volume was a little low for me, so I was doing some of the noises.
Oh, yeah. The Lucio auto attacks,
yes,
you were mimicking them. I recognize the sound now. I was like, where did I hear that jam before? Okay, I got it. Shoots. Okay. Can you do that the whole game? Thank you very much.
I got you covered. I'm not sure production would like that one either, but Greymane will grab the camp on the top left of the minimap. Bottom lane, it's going to be Stitches versus Diablo. Malthael moving into mid to catch the soak. That isn't going to be grabbed since we have camps being grabbed by BBJ and Kepi. Top lane, it's Medivh versus Hogger. Medivh currently sitting at 8 stacks out of the 40. We'll see how that goes as he's getting a little pressure thrown onto him from the Hogger pushing that lane up. And Red Robot, I was about to be like, oh, you're a little bit low in health, and no, Red Robot bites the Diablo and he's A-okay because that level 1 is providing so much healing through the patchwork creation.
20% of Stitches' max health plus that 15% increase from patchwork creation, which I think it does work even on percentage-based heals. I think it does work. Though sometimes percentages ignore multiplicative bonuses, but I think that one works. Oh. It's a lot of healing anyway. It's a lot of healing. As this is still a 0-kill game, we had the Bruiser camp willfully delayed by Oxygen to make sure that they can kill Storm's Bruiser camp near their own towers and then have the last laugh and push in with that. We got some good shots coming here from CPX. He is going to get polymorphed, which will actually delay you taking the portal, and he drops to just 245 health.
BBJ!
With BBJ dying for that.
Unfortunate. As I said yesterday, the statement is still appropriate and correct. You cannot go through a portal as a crab or a squirrel or any sort of animal, and here's the storm. It's a interesting factor, an interesting thing that was added in when when Brightwing was added. But anyways, Hogger gets the camp, or is trying to get the channel on the top right of the map. Malthael does delay things out with a little shade and half a level lead, maybe a quarter level lead for the side of Oxygen as Nasmus is trying to force IBTings to step forward. Heavy and Nasmus don't find the kill, but now Nasmus is going to delay things out. Another shade from Mephisto as Medara gets the Haunting Wave and jukes the enemy team. They actually were starting to follow Medara in the runaway, but Haunting Wave gets Sylvanas out of the tough situation.
And for who was wondering, Death Shroud just missed. Did not manage to interrupt Heavy one more time. It was just a bit too far away.
You know, IBTings has to work on their shade essentially. They got to be able to hit enemy members with that a little more effectively. But no, we have the Tribute, the second one spawning top left of the map. So this is actually in favor for Storm positionally. Will the enemy team Oxygen be able to step forward, or will Oxygen give this over and trying to find a Medivh kill in bottom lane? Because Medivh is currently being he gets the portal over the wall. I was like, wait, CPX, you're playing with fire here, bud.
Yeah, so what happened is you had Medara coming in there with the gank, and instantly, before even getting hooked or attacked, he cast Force of Will and Portal to try and get away. CPX playing with fire, though. If that hook, legitimately, he'd be dead. But now he has 27 stacks and ready to keep fighting without any fear for his own life.
This makes me nervous, though, Grubby. Like the Medivh play, it's been too many times getting this low in health, and Heroics around the corner. Medivh only needs 13 more stacks, but 13 stacks is a long road. Oh, beautifully played from Draded and Red
Nice.
Robot. The hook into the steel trap with the big ass, which will target and Chattering Teeth chasing the hero as well. So if you don't get that hook immediately onto the steel trap, you still have that ability to chase in as the phase shift onto Medara will be good from Heavy. Polymorph goes out onto Kepi. Kepi trying to back off on Greymane, gets the roll away, disengage. Nasmus has the Hog Wild into the enemy team's face. Lobber pushes Red Robot around, but it's not enough, and Kepi's so very low, so is Red Robot, or excuse me, so is Lobber. He gets hooked again. Lobber goes down, 90 souls on this Diablo, so no revive. He'll have those souls, and the second objective phase did go over to the side. Oh my god, are you kidding me with it? You are kidding me with that right there. That was absolutely beautiful, and BBJ is gonna be deposited onto another steel trap. This Stitches is on fire, Grubby.
Yeah, legit though, he walked into it. Like,
True.
It was like a slow moving, but still, you know, it's good to try and fish. Small mistake there, and does end up falling for that. Ford actually survives. I wonder if they didn't get the mind control on Lucio. I think they actually killed the Ford.
Oh, I agree absolutely with that. And we have the objective popping up. There were some camps on the map as well to be grabbed. So we have Nasmus grabbing the Bruiser camp on the Hogger. We have Draded on the Junkrat getting the the Siege Giant camp for bottom lane. And BBJ and crew are going to look for a boss in bottom. No scouting from Stitches. I would assume that Oxygen knows this is happening and they're just going to play...
They know now.
Yeah.
Lauer's movement gives it away.
Yes.
Walking up there with Diablo doesn't necessarily prove it. Casting a Firestone and then walking back does.
Yeah.
So Storm gets their boss. What happens in return? CPX, 38 out of 40 stacks. He's looking at 3 people. There's a ley line. He engages.
Apocalypse is timed out a little early, I think, but they still find the kill onto Draded.
It was good.
Oh, he gets the Riptire just as he goes down. IBTing so very low, and this is a high five BBJ.
Yeah, high five. It's still the right choice.
I agree.
This was really, really good.
Yes.
That ley line, CPX started the fight there, looking at 3 people. He's selling the illusions of maybe I'm going to get my final stacks, but that's not what that was. It was a ley line into an APOC. Junkrat had 2 circles next to him, jumped out of one, walked into the next. That was the threat of happening. Either way, he got stunned, and they killed Junkrat. And then Brightwing, who tried to save him. The first 2 kills that Storm has this game. Boss gets a wall. Fountain, not yet if Stitches stays, but that puts Storm in position. Stitches is still clearing path. Storm knows that. They instantly go for top boss. Love to see this dynamic play from Storm. When Kepi is on Greymane, we always see these quick side lane pushes. The question is, will they have enough time, Bahamut?
Hogger has scouted this out. Medivh doesn't have Leyline Seal for 12 more seconds. CPX is still flying above, and there's no engagement onto the boss point. Oxygen plays it safe, goes for the hook, but there's no 13 talent here. If that was 13s, Lobber would be hook, gorged, and possibly dead here, but not happening, and this game will continue. Nice back and forth so far. You know what? It's been back and forth. Do you actually want to get into Storm comms here?
Love to.
I'm working on it. Oh, fuck.
Yeah, I got the big. Yeah, I got the big. Yeah.
Fine.
I get here. We can go on still.
That's
Shielding you.
Okay, that's awesome.
Fucking go.
Grab Curse. Look top keep maybe? Or mid for it.
Make sure we get soak.
Yeah,
Gabby
we
wants
can
to
get
do on
soak.
bottom.
Okay.
I'm looking both sides.
I have
Okay,
portal
Medara.
I'm coming to you, I'm coming.
I have to get a top wave for this. One
It's
sec.
fine, it's fine.
I'll shield you over into a wall stun though, or portal you over.
Yeah, I'm done.
if I see her.
I'm coming, I'm coming.
Come.
Oh, it's fucked. I run out.
Holy shield, you're okay. Shielding.
Small
Portal
one.
at 4, portal
I
at
don't
3.
have a cleanse for you.
Shield 3, you're okay, you're okay. Shielding.
He's
I
trying to
got
go.
portal, I have portal.
Was that a bit greedy?
Yeah.
Did you not charge her on the well, like right away?
No. Yeah, I charged it, but...
Was a little bit greedy right there, Grubby, as we heard as we were jumping out of the comms. There was still a lot of structural damage done, and a little bit of an experience gap kind of forming here, half a level. Was really greedy at the end, though, to go for that portal over the wall and dive onto the Sylvanas.
I liked it.
I agree. I know. I thought it was a good play, but it did end up it fell apart. And that portal, the portal that would have gotten the friendly team out, that was, I feel, kind of the little bit of the mess up in that one. I'll just be blunt.
Yeah, I don't know. I liked it. I also thought that Diablo maybe could get the Shadow Charge on the Fountain. I thought maybe before she casts her Haunting Wave, or you can kind of track her. I'm not sure exactly what they're... I mean, any one of the team could have said, let's not do this. But yeah, it didn't work out. In the end, it was 3v... It started as a 3v1. Once they didn't get the kill, like once the Shadow Charge didn't happen, they could have still turned around. They didn't need to... Like, Lauber didn't need to chase between the Fountain and the Keep, per se, to still try to make something out of it. You're just creating space. You've already achieved the goal of not having Sylvanas unload free damage on the boss. They could have gone back as a unit. And, yeah, you know, this is not their usual lineup. There's going to be some coordination issues. But at the end of the day, Storm is ahead in every way save one. The tribute amount.
I'm looking at minimap right now, and it's oh god, these hooks are just terrifying right now from Red Robot. We do see Medivh with the level 16 Temporal Flux. That's going to be a great way to stall out Gorge disengages, unless, you know, Medivh's the one who does get Gorged. I'm assuming CPX will be flying in the sky for quite a bit of this game, just sticking on top of Red Robot, so that way there's not these blind hooks into a bush, and the enemy team, the friendly team, for Storm are going to be able to position around Stitch's hook reach.
Yeah, but not a lot of hooks have been connecting here. It's mostly been Storm that has been initiating first. X Factor here being Medivh. Imagine having everything you do be continually spotted. As Storm now decides to give up tribute, while representing maybe that they're not, because Medivh is there, right? Like, the whole team could suddenly be there. But it's Storm going for boss. I wonder if Oxygen anticipated this. At this moment, Curse is kind of whatever. Mid needs to be depushed a bit for Storm, but top will take a while. And the boss is not up yet, 40 seconds. So, or you can say, hey, we are going to defend S5, mid or top, and have the boss just be the complete depush of bottom lane. There's a lot of options here for Storm. And I feel like they got exactly what they wanted. This curse being wasted. That 2 out of 3 hanging as a weapon over their heads being gone. And once the dust settles and everything has been said and done, top boss will be available again, post-curse. And who is that a better win condition for? Storm Esports with Leyline Seal to steal it and a weakened keep? Or for Oxygen, who still needs to go through the keep wall and only has Hortipult Gorge to contest it? I think Storm comes out ahead here.
I would lean into this as well with you. I'm watching the minimap as Nasmus pushes in through the mid lane. Medivh has left the enemy side, so there's no more scouting onto Stitches. Okay, I think there was a consideration, because you could actually see BBJ on the Lucio starting to roller skate over to mid lane. There was maybe a consideration to dive onto Hogger in mid, but they go on the side of Storm. Let's go for boss. They'll get bottom lane fort. That's a trade in favor for the side of Storm still, because this boss now threatens onto top lane keep, as you were just mentioning, Grubby.
It looks like Storm was still, like you said, wondering what decision, what information to act on.
Yeah.
They were waiting for all the pieces to fall into place. They saw Hogger mid. They saw maybe one bot, but didn't know where everyone was. Then I feel like they went for the boss a little bit slowly, but it kind of works out because they're ever so close to level 20 now.
Yeah.
They're pushing in. Let's see. Greed, safe, keep in back, or do you go for the core, reach for the stars?
Hook, gonna connect onto a minion. Storm Esports playing around the hook factor very well. Slam on the ground from Stitches does have that pulverize, so it's gonna be armor reduction and movement speed. Leyline Seal onto a few. There's an Apocalypse. A Riptire comes out from the Junkrat, and he's just zoning with this. Oh no, that was a concussion mine. Yeah, concussion mine was forcing back the enemy team.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hook.
What a great Riptire. What's no Riptire? No, what a great concussive mine that actually just completely stopped the Apocalypse Shadow Charge follow-up.
It's just like, okay, all right, well, we're A-okay. We'll take some Apocalypse damage. What is that Apocalypse damage right now? It's like 300 damage to the target, so not much to worry about on that one. And let's see, level 20s. We do have the Medivh cheats, which, keep in mind, increases the Leyline Seal stop time by 1 second. Diablo players, Lauber, should be aware of this, and he should know how to play around that with his timing from Apocalypse. Hellgate for Diablo. We are going to be seeing the Lucio go into the house party. For each ally affected by Crossfade, Lucio gains 8% increased healing. Malthael, no one can stop death. And Greymane, Unleashed, going to be able to really go for the throat onto multiple targets, but there's a passive as well. Go for the throat damage is increased by 25%.
Interesting. A little bit more likely to get that first reset, to get that burst kill. It's just more burst, right? And how much is that 25%? The baseline damage is almost 800. Oof. So we're talking about another 200 damage. You go for the throating for 1000 damage. Really nice. As Storm picks up the first tribute after the first 2 curses in this game. We're now on the way to potentially a 3rd curse, but it could end before that, come collapsing. This is a bruiser camp, though. They're fighting outside of the bruiser camp. This works out. Apocalypse? Good!
Massive, huge play coming out from Storm Esports.
Colossal.
That's going to be a Lacerate's getting a kill onto the Sylvanas. Junkrat goes down. Hellgate from Lauber in a direction, and this Stitches, he's going to get chased. He's going to go down. And Storm Esports, they might have just started to turn things around here in map number 3. Ladies and gentlemen, they're going to rush towards core, and with 40-some seconds on average for 3 enemy players, Storm Esports look comfortable rushing in to go and end game. Can Nasmus and Heavy make the heroic defenses we've mentioned in the past? I don't know here. Polymorph onto Diablo. Core shielding is being scratched. Leyline Seal will go out onto those 2 defending. Heavy trying to polymorph, gets the blink heal around. The core is falling rapidly. Not enough damage is going out. CPX taking a lot themselves, but this is still the core falling. Lucio with a few high fives. And ladies and gentlemen, the series ain't over yet. It's not a day of 3-0s. We're heading into a map number 4. GG, well played, over to the side of Storm Esports. I was thinking that Oxygen could ride that high, but I do now agree with both you and McIntyre, now that of course I see how things come out in the end, that Storm Esports had the more aggressive, the better draft, and the Medivh Diablo was super well played together. McIntyre, you've been watching from afar this entire time. What are your thoughts on this Cursed Hollow map?
Yeah, I think the draft from Storm's side was just much better this game. I also think that, activating on a pick like Medivh for a player like CPX is a really smart adjustment to make, right, mid-series. These previous 2 games, they were maybe putting CPX on something, not that he couldn't play, but not a stronger character for him. And here they're, unlocking that Diablo Medivh, right? And showing that they can play it, kind of playing into the strengths of their 6th player here. Working way more successfully for them, right? Able to take down Oxygen. Very interesting. They, we're getting objectives, we're getting bosses, but as I continue to highlight, Oxygen does a great job of defending those things. So there was a point in the game where, they still had keeps up. There was still some I guess, life left in the game for them. But yeah, again, that pressure that Storm had, the Diablo Medivh comp, is working so well into their play style. Able to pick up a game here, game number 3, possibly putting Storm in the position to run it back, right? Reverse sweep.
The reverse sweep is possible. It's not imminent, but we do still have 2 more potential maps in this best of 5 series as we're going to get set up for that 4th map here. I want to continue talking a little bit about that last game. Grubby, do you think that there was anything, do you think Oxygen's draft was maybe too much around the Stitches? What do you think is maybe the falter of that draft? Was it the missed hooks? Was it just the outplay from Storm?
I feel like we see the first time Stitches being countered like it should be. I mean, in this Stitches meta, if you're like a team that's like, oh, we don't play Medivh, we don't know how to play him, we'll just ban it. I think that's a major weakness. Yeah. And we saw that earlier today, and now we didn't. And CPX carried that game. Yeah. He had top kills, top hero damage, initiated every fight, revealed every position. He was the key player there. And that's awesome to see. I think I wouldn't even go so far as to maybe target ban CPX there. Just remove Medivh.
Yeah, definitely agree.
I mean, it really depends on where we head to for the 4th map, and that actually might kind of give us a little more information as to what the draft priority could look like. Actually, we got it ready to go. Look at that. Like I put it out to the universe, and production's like, don't worry, Baha, we got you covered. As Storm Esports will choose to take us to Tomb of the Spider Queen with Oxygen on the losing side, opting for first pick priority. So Tomb of the Spider Queen, small map, a lot of rotations, another place where we could see Stitches, but also another place, McIntyre, where we could see Lauber playing Diablo. And I gotta say, Lauber's Diablo in that last game was fairly on point, in my opinion.
Yeah, very good. And again, just highlighted by the fact that CPX was on the Medivh, right? Being able to shield Lauber whenever he made the aggressive play, be able to get him out of trouble and protect him in those tough situations that Diablo tends to put himself into, right? And you're right, this is definitely a map where you can play a composition like that. It'll be interesting to see if Oxygen, looks to band it out, looks to draft something completely different. I think that so far their drafts have been fairly, on base of what you would normally expect from Oxygen. I don't think they've done anything too crazy for the day as well. So there is room on a map like Spider Queen to get a little more creative on the draft screen. We'll see how they adjust, though. As Grubby has mentioned, maybe just target banning CPX out.
It's definitely a possibility. We're here, ready to go, and this is going to be map number 4 in our second best of 5 of Sunday, our last best of 5 of the weekend for week 6. Oof. Man, I gotta say this really quickly. I looked over at my other monitor because I have all the stats from previous weeks, and we're in week 6. We're approaching the end of the group stage. We got next weekend is the last weekend of group stage phase, and then we'll take a 2-week break and we'll come back with those playoffs. But it's just exciting, and just watching the growth of all these teams throughout the season has been it's exciting in general. I love Heroes of the Storm. I love what CCL has brought to our grassroots scene, and that will be a ban on the Stitches. Storm Esports just going to say, look, it was pretty good in the last game. It wasn't enough to win the game, but it still was enough for us to be like, all right, we're sweating. We're not liking this. And Oxygen respects BBJ's Lucio play, saying that, even though you don't have Mixing Fire, BBJ's still literally on fire with that hero, Grubby.
Yeah, for sure. I think he looked very good. Like, at least one of his deaths was because someone else got caught, who he then saved. There was that one unfortunate walk into mind control, which is literally just like a mini-map click or something. And for the rest, like, he was just popping off on saves and speeding his team in, making sure that there's a relevant use of that Apocalypse Leyline Seal combo. Make sure that everyone can get in position to unload the damage. And yeah, it was strong, and we remember why it was good. We see more Diablo coming in. Does that mean it's Medivh? No, not yet. So then do you ban it, Oxygen? We'll see.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Go ahead,
It's
please.
interesting. I was going to say, it's just interesting, I think Oxygen has gotten Junkrat pretty much every game.
Yeah.
It's weird for me to think that they first pick it here, the priority of that on this map. Oh, okay. Well, that would make sense, actually. You would want to have wave clear. Because your chokeall does take a body away from the rest of your team, right?
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. There's
why first pick it if you've always been given it, is what you're trying to say, right?
There it is.
See, it's because Oxygen played it against Simplicity and actually won it with it. It's not that crazy of an idea. We're going to Tomb. It's a small map. It's a good place for the chokeall. Please, Oxygen, give it to me. Malthiel and Ana, and maybe Storm's sitting over here like, yeah, I don't really know about that anymore. Like, I'm just like, Oxygen, don't do it. That's a bad idea, because anti-healing Ana, anti-healing Malthiel, percent-based damage Malthiel, percent-based damage Sylvanas. It's looking like not a good chokeall game here, Grubby.
Percent-based damage Ana too, by the way. It's 8%, right, on the sleep dart?
Yeah.
8 or 10%.
Yeah, you're right. So, please, Oxygen, don't do it for me. Just play standard or something. I don't know what they're gonna go. Oh. All right, McIntyre. What are you thinking here?
I mean, I'm actually into it. Ana. Ooh, maybe not so into it anymore. Ana has a really hard time kind of dealing with things kind of overrunning her, right? And Tyrael, Greymane are great for that. The Stukov's already going to provide the CC, Junkrat doing the wave clear, and Hoggart, obviously that solo laner. I think the Cassia pick, though, in this last pick slot for Storm is kind of the backbreaker, though, in my opinion. Possibly what just wins them the game. Storm's going to have a hard time, I think, dealing with the Cassia in this game, right? We always mention the tank Cassia. In this case, they have to deal with a tank Cassia and a tank Diablo and a tank Mathiel. If Nano gets onto that Mathiel, it's going to be really hard for Oxygen, right, to deal with that, right? Because their lack of CC basically sanctification is like the only way out of it. And at that point, you've grouped yourself up for a Sylvanas Wailing, Diablo combos, maybe sleeps from Ana. I'd say for me, I think Storm has kind of unlocked a weakness that they were having, which was the CPX being in the off lane. Putting IB Tings on the Mathiel has kind of opened that up. CPX is getting to continue to play what he knows best here. I'm going to give this game to Storm. I think they just have the better comp and fits their style really well for this map.
Alrighty, thank you, McIntyre. We'll see you after the game, and we'll see if you're right. Does Storm take us to a map number 5? We'll have to find out here. We get into the draft. We've got on the left-hand side Storm Esports, BBJ on the Ana, Lauber on the Diablo, Cassia played by CPX, IB Tings on the Malthael, and Kepi playing Sylvanas. Over in the red, once again, trying to win out the series in a 3-1 fashion, we've got Oxygen Esports. Nasmus on the Hogger, Hebi on the Stukov, Medara on the Greymane, Red Robot on the Tyrael, and Draded on, I believe, Junkrat for the 4th map in a row. I'm looking at this here, Grubby, and I agree with a lot of what McIntyre is saying. But I'm gonna go with Oxygen. I'm gonna go with my gut on this one. Both drafts are looking really strong. There's positives to either side for this map in the engagements, in the heroics, in the scaling. But I just have this gut feeling we're gonna see an Oxygen win. What are your thoughts in this tomb setup, or even just the matchups that we're seeing?
I think there's a lack of CC. Cassia dominates this team. Sanctification prevents it. I'm with Mac on these thoughts. But after Sanct, and even during it, how do you CC Storm down enough to take him down? It's all Stukov? Holy Ground? A little bit of slow from Eldruin's might from Tyrael? That's what I'm worried about. And I don't think it's going to be Judgment. It's not impossible to see Judgment. But if Ana's far enough back, BBJ's just going to Smelling Salt's Judgment. Since he makes that decision at level 13 and Judgment comes at 10. So I think it is Sanct. But what Oxygen does have is boss fight. Holy Ground and Sanct wins boss fights. So even if Oxygen can't make kills, they've shown in the past they're comfortable with that. As long as they don't die. Don't make kills, don't die, play the map. Level 20 boss fight. and there you go. And they've got deep push for Web Weavers. Hager, Greymane, Junkrat will deep push very well indeed.
Greymane just taking a nap in mid lane. Kepi, IB Tings, BBJ grabbing the camp and bottom. I don't think there can be a quick enough rotation from the side of Oxygen to delay that out. The other thing to consider too with the Sanctification argument, and I absolutely agree that it should be Sanctification, you can mitigate the value of a Last Rites with that. So it's just it's such a big deal in my opinion. So, and then you also have the Holy Arena at level 20, which I believe gives you bonus damage output so long as you're standing inside the Holy Ground, and that's a talent that we've seen actually Tyrael's used to actually end games, so you can bolster the damage from your team. But Lauber, there's just not enough damage in mid lane. There was the setup for it, but Greymane wasn't there. If Greymane was there, or Draded was maybe there on Junkrat, maybe Diablo goes down. Nasmus and friends move into mid lane as they want to try and siege into this. Lauber a little bit split. CPX coming in on the Cassia. Chattering Teeth gonna just catch on to Lauber, I believe, and Nasmus has the Hog Wild to disengage.
Huh, interesting talent by Ana. Biotic enhancements. I pretty much almost never see this. No, there we go. Biotically enhanced. Hogger can't receive healing. Increase the bonus healing duration of Biotic grenades by 50%. And reduce its cooldown by 2 seconds. More grenades and longer bonus healing duration. Nice on Diablo with that level 4/7W build that he rocked last game and this game as well. Nice on Inner Light for Cassia. And fantastic on Malthael, who has a bunch of self-healing. We may see Tormented coming out here, not Last Rites. Last Rites nice on Hagar. You mentioned Sanct being able to block it. Perhaps enough reason to go into the Nano Boost Tormented tech route.
I like that. I love the shred ability from it. If I'm not Malthael went down. I was looking at Ana talents and he just gets shredded by the time I actually catch the fact that he's out of position. But Ana, the cooldown on Biotic Grenade is now 14 seconds and the duration goes from 4 to 6 seconds for that heal from the, as you were mentioning, the Biotic enhancements from level 4. Turn availability exists on the side of Storm Esports. CPX split from the friendly team. BBJ trying to heal through a lot of this, and Hebi gets 1, 2, 3 autos. Not enough to actually find the kill, as Turnin still over to the side of our blue team, Storm Esports, with Oxygen looking for a few more gems in the rotations to get their turn in. Or is it going to be the
Bot
hold?
lane.
Ooh, bottom? Is there a...
Bot Shrine, we have a bit of a fight there as Lauber came in to interrupt Medara from turning in. Hotly contested. Top lane, it's Junkrat trying to hold the fort there. Lauber gets caught against 4. They blow him up.
Lauber is executed, 86 souls left on that Diablo, so no reset, and a few gems to fall on the ground as well. Still turn-in availability exists on both sides. Red Robot will come through with the last 11 gems needed. This is going to be Red Web Weavers descending for the side of Oxygen Esports. What value do they gain as Diablo respawns and is working his way back down the lanes? Nasmus continues to open up bottom lane, but CPX is stepping in. Great devastating blow from Hogger. Hog wilds away, and no kill found from the side of Storm.
No kill from Storm here. Always that tenuous moment before the Web Weavers descend, and there's no real attacker's advantage yet. It can be quite nice to take the sting out of an upcoming attack if you can force a fight right before it. But Oxygen smartly disengages. They have a good defensive composition for that, with Junkrat being able to defend, and of course Tyrael being able to speed everyone out of fights. Hard to force fights sometimes, but great at escaping.
If the 4 wasn't there, I was actually really afraid for CPX. He was getting chunked quite heavily. Half a level lead over to the side of Oxygen as they're just rotating around the map and clearing things out. Opens up the bottom lane a little bit further. CPX very low on mana. Medara poking at them with the in the human form. Hogger through mid will get some siege value. Diablo set on souls, as he also does have that soul to flame level 4 Fire Stomp build, which builds out souls plus the mini waves, giving him those. But now 10 talent tiers are slowly but surely coming in. Here's probably the sanctification, Hortipult, Hogger, massive shove onto the Stukov, Curse Bullet, Greymane, and Riptire from the Junkrat. Fairly standard as we see a massive shove onto the Malthael through bottom lane. Good angling from Heavy just to get the full shove.
Yeah, almost all the way back to core.
Just gotta weave between the keep and the core itself.
Yeah. Oxygen pops over to the siege camp. They've got their own bruiser camp. Looks like they're giving turn in because they know we can't hold this off forever, but let's get the consolation prize. Lauber sniffs it out though, comes over here with the big engage. Sanctification saving Stukov. The turnaround, Stukov with the combo. Valkyrie actually interrupting the silence as CPX pops back and tries to escape here. He's got the nano boost, trying to load some damage onto people, but they're so fast. He gets, CPX gets tossed in with a concussive mine, and he goes down, baited by the nano boost to try and maximize his damage. Fending, and then actually got blown up by Oxygen. I'm liking the Valkyrie tech here, as they try to get Medara there, healing grenade, bit of damage from Kepi. I like the not going with the ball lightning, as that will just fall on deaf ears into a sanctification.
I'm a little confused by the execution in that last fight to use the Valkyrie in the way that it was used, because it's not going to pull people through terrain like a hook from Stitches. He just
interrupted the silence, right?
It was just,
he was trying to save tank.
I don't know. It didn't feel necessary, but I don't know. That maybe I'm overthinking
I agree
it.
With you.
It's not the.
No, I think I agree.
It's not the longest.
He wasn't going to die from the silence.
Oh, is this another pick? No. Okay, Curse Bullet did get fired, but it won't. I actually don't think it connected. And we'll see Sanctification up in 15 seconds. I was worried about that Sanctification being used too early, because there is the last rites from Malthael, who didn't apply it during that team fight. Has it off a cooldown. Another Valkyrie. CPX could go fishing here. Unless CPX is going to get bursted down by Riptire. Valkyrie does come out. It actually interrupts the Riptire. Or no, it did explode. CPX takes a lot of damage. Gets picked off by Junkrat this time. Hogger with the Hortipult kind of setting that up. Lauber with full souls. Fire stomping through the enemy team. Getting some extra healing, but it's not enough. BBJ getting dove. Actually, no, it's the Sylvanas getting dove. The collapse from the side of Oxygen is absolutely dirty here, Grubby. A triple kill, a quad kill found. Resetting those Diablo souls. Getting the mid lane fort. Getting the turn in. This is huge for Oxygen on Tomb.
Yeah, this is sick. They could even start boss, but not greedy at all, are they?
Nope. I think they know their rotations, they know their momentum, and they know how they want to play this objective phase into Storm.
Just getting the turn in there, starting to pressure with Greymane's Inner Beast activated. Lauber forced to navigate among different traps. A lot of damage on CPX. already. He's down to 80% life, standing next to that burn. There's the Valkyrie, there's the grenade on Tyrael, but the follow-up CC isn't there. Big part of that, heavy, with the silence. Lauber could not cast spells.
Nasmus looking for an angle for the Hortipult or maybe a Hog Wild or just something. Sylvanas getting chunked quite heavily. Hortipult over the wall gets the devastating blow onto this Diablo. He's going to get chunked, and that is a full death timer on Diablo. Riptire from the Junkrat connects onto 4 enemy members. Oh my god, is it dirty with the holy ground. Red Robot setting up the second kill by blocking Sylvanas' retreat. The Riptire setting up the damage, and Greymane finds the last auto. A fort through top will fall, a double kill is had, and that's not enough. They want more. They want blood on the side of Oxygen. A nano boosted CPX almost finds the kill. Ana goes down. Sanctification is forced out, but it still sets up a staggered death as Diablo respawns here. Webweaver on 5% HP. Diablo's getting chunked right now, and this keep is looking fragile, like a teacup.
Like a little fragile teacup that's being stepped on by an elephant or many small rats.
No,
but so many.
This keeps 69 nice HP, and that is not a joke, chat. It's legit 69. I'm going to screenshot it. I'll post it on Twitter later. It's very nice keep health right now.
All right. Well, let's hope nothing happens to it, as that was a very, very successful push by Oxygen.
Grubby, do you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of Season 1 Oxygen, where they would consistently map to map, find just insane leads. We're looking at almost a 2-level lead. We saw the 2-level lead on Towers of Doom. I think we saw almost a 2-level lead on Infernal Shrines. Curse Hollow was the only map where Oxygen looked like they struggle. Was it the Medivh that just shut them down so hard? Was it just a misplay from Oxygen? I don't know. What I will say, though, is Oxygen looks a lot more comfortable in this map, number 4. They're rotating more succinctly. Red Robot's on point with this Tyrael. I would dare to say Red Robot's probably one of the best Tyraels I've seen so far in HeroesCCL Season 2. I know X-Ray plays an amazing one, but Red Robot is just so on point today.
Definitely agree with you on that. Never gonna underestimate his Tyrael again, or say something foolish like, I don't know how to chase skills or have enough catch on any members of the enemy team. It's just it's a proper main tank, especially enabling a Greymane here, giving him that bonus attack speed, that bonus movement speed, and that ultimate sanctification protective barrier. Getting a nice early head start here. Haven't killed Webweavers in 3 seconds today. Let's do one.
The boss in the top lane is going to distract the side of Storm Esports long enough for mid lane Webweaver to go down. Boss actually just now gets cleared out. Top lane Webweaver very healthy, but insanely far back down the lane. And as a reminder for everyone at home, Webweavers naturally lose health over time. So this Webweaver in top, it's got a long way to go, and it should expire by the time it maybe approaches the fort front gate. While that's happening, we see a little bit of a flank through this bottom lane. And is this just for structural damage? Yes.
Yeah. Getting some really nice structural damage here. That's tower number 1. And they back off. The trap actually revealing info over the wall, which showed them Diablo's coming. Blue Webweavers have been summoned a long time ago, and that top one is still alive. I just kind of forgot that was still the phase we're in.
It's as I said, like it's gonna lose its health. It actually just about, it kind of died off on its own by the time it got to this front gate of the fort and top. But Nasmus will make sure that any gems that were dropped will be picked up, and we are, or actually might have been the Greymane. Oh, hold on. Lauber goes in for the Shadow Charge. We have a lot of damage onto Red Robot. Spread volley from the... Okay, there's going to be a last rites, but it doesn't actually get the kill onto Red Robot. He gets the healing pathogen, gets a little bit of shielding. We saw a Riptire from Junkrat as well. We have the Curse Bullet from Greymane and Hortipult on 16-second cooldown. The fight kinda stalled, kinda whiffed on the side of Storm.
And now what have they got left? Nano Boost and APOC? Maybe a Nano Boosted APOC? With Nano Boost, Apocalypse is going to do even more damage, Bahamut.
Oh, wow.
350.
Oh, damn. That surely is a number. I feel like Stukov does more damage per auto. Yes, he does 530 per auto.
Oh, damn it. Okay, that's... we scrapped that idea. Okay, how about nanoing Cassia again?
I mean, it hasn't worked at all, so you could just try and keep forcing it, but this is Red Webweavers descending for the side of Oxygen. It's looking scary for the side of Storm here. Can they, well, weather this gigantic push from the side of Oxygen.
Yes, they can, but
Okay.
will they?
Okay.
That remains to be seen. Web Weavers are coming.
Okay, so mid lane.
Top wave is being dealt with early. Just want to make sure that that doesn't destroy your core in some kind of collapse. Mid lane is the one they're pushing with. Nice damage there by Sylvanas, by Kepi.
Steel Trap connects onto Lobber. There's a little bit of some loot on the ground from the junk. Oh my god, from the, dear lord, from the Hogger, as, yeah, Lobber gets chunked quite heavily right there. Mid lane Webweaver getting some death waves in, Shattering Teeth zoning back Kepi. A few little pokes here and there will lower Kepi's health. Aldruin's Might on the ground could be triggered by Red Robot, will be, and kind of blocks the enemy team. Bottom lane Webweaver will be cleared out, finding half of the keep. It's half the keep down there. Mid lane will go down, or excuse me, the mid lane keep will fall here as CPX tries to go for his Valkyrie. I don't think it connected onto anyone, and Red Robot and crew are still kind of playing around this core area, and catapults have arrived through top lane. Maybe it's a double keep. I think that's what they want to do on the side of Oxygen and get this keep down in bottom lane, so consistent catapult pressure comes through. But here we go, Grubby. The fight will break out with Medara taking a lot of damage.
Yeah, oh my god, Lauber, you had a bad day. As he just gets absolutely blasted before everyone else can even use their heroics. Maybe that's the issue. Oh, here we go. Nano Boost, Lost Rights, Wailing Arrow. They're using the second life bar for Diablo to try and make a comeback here. Kepi though.
Sylvanas will go down. Medara has the 1v1.
What is Stukov doing?
I don't know. Stukov's just going for the kill. Heavy's just going to hoot on the Stukov, and that's going to be a quad kill over to the side of Oxygen. Technically a pentakill. Maybe even a 6 kill. Did Malthiel actually buy back in? I do believe he... yeah. No, he doesn't even have 20, so he can't. So never mind. Yeah, I thought both teams had 20s, but the GGs will go out. Heavy and Crew are going to smack their way through the core, and Oxygen Esports will take game number 4, shutting down our second best of 5 of the day in a 3-1 fashion. No reverse sweeps had in today's matches. Oxygen wanted that victory up against the members of Storm. And I gotta say here, Grubby, this was a very well played series from Oxygen. That Cursed Hollow map started to bring some life back into Storm, but I just, this game felt so, not one-sided, but it just didn't feel like Storm could step into the enemy team's face. Would you agree?
I would agree. It didn't feel one-sided, but it didn't feel two-sided
Yes,
either.
yes, that's perfectly put, Grubby. McIntyre, was this a 3-sided game, 4-sided? Was this a 7-sided strike? What kind of game was this for you?
I'll say 14. I don't know.
Okay.
It feels good. 14-sided.
Makes sense.
Makes sense to me.
Definitely
69-sided.
Yeah, just like the keep health. No, yeah, I think that this game was a great kind of showing of what momentum looks like, and if you can maintain that momentum, right? Oxygen, great game number 1, great game number 2. Had a little hiccup there in game number 3, but readjusted for this 4th series game in the series, and able to just smash the side of 30K, right? Or not 30K, sorry, Storm. It's interesting because I want to say I was hyping up Medara in the beginning and his flexibility as a ranged assassin, and here we see him showcasing a Greymane right after playing a Hanzo. It's like his character pool is so wide and he's so flexible in what he can play. I'm really glad that Oxygen is kind of leaning into their player strengths, right? Even Draded showing a Junkrat over and over again, dominating on it, making me reconsider the 16 talent, right? Every fight it seemed like he would pop that and just do so much damage with those grenades. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. We were concerned about their ability to find kills, and it just seemed like just due to their synergy, they were able to find. I know Nasmus was kind of popping off on Hogger, I'll be honest. He hog wild over top and then smacked Labra into the fort. I was like, that was pretty clean, I'm not gonna lie. And then it ended up with the holy ground then on the keep wall that gets another kill. Like, there was just a lot of synergy happening. They were just, they were feeling themselves here and able to take down Storm in a 3-1.
And Storm is, I mean, Grubby had really brought this up a lot today, and we were discussing this a ton. Storm Esports, they're our number 2 team in HeroesCCL, and in the standings right now, Oxygen sitting at 6. That might actually change up right now. I'm just looking at the Wikipedia standings. We'll have those updated standings in a little bit for you, but it is like it's this really kind of back and forth, like what will happen next weekend. We'll have to see next weekend, but the games today were so very good. They were a 3-0 and a 3-1, but still, I mean, I had so much fun in this series here, and I believe we'll get an interview with one of the one of the Oxygen Esports players in just a little bit here in that time. Just thinking back about the series, do you think that if the draft was... Oh, actually, hold on. We might have our interview here, so maybe I don't want to open up the floor to questions just yet. We might be able to ask some questions to our interviewee, who I do believe is here. We've got Medara on the line. Can you hear me, my friend?
Yes, I can.
How you doing? Congratulations on your 3-1 victory. How you feeling after that series?
We're feeling pretty good. We just beat the second place team. It's really nice.
It is a very nice place to be. You're probably riding a big high. I'm sure there's a lot of cheers in the comms as you finished out that game.
Oh,
I want to throw it over to McIntyre right now and get a couple questions over to you.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm thinking now. You took down the number 2 team. You're possibly able to next week get that number 3 spot. How do you guys prepare for your series next week? Is there anything I guess you don't need to really hide anything now, right? Are all the tricks in the bag put away for your series next week now that you've taken down, I guess, the number 2 team, right?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of stuff that we practice week by week, like based on who we're going to be up against. So we knew we'd be up against Storm. We looked a lot at what they liked playing. We saw they liked Tychus very much, so you see we banned it every single game.
Yeah.
And that seemed to work out. But most of our strategies, I guess, we're kind of finished unveiling today. I don't know if we've shown the hyper carry Junkrat before, but we've done it in scrims a lot and had success. So I think that was like the main thing that we hadn't really shown yet. But most of our stuff you guys already know about: the Vikings, the Cho'Gall.
Sure.
Okay, I gotta ask this question really quickly. Were you considering Cho'Gall on that last map until the last few picks came through from Storm? Because I was sitting here like, ooh, that draft order's kind of looking Cho'Gallish.
I'm gonna have to say we weren't. I'm really sorry to break your heart, but
Grubby, I don't have any more questions. Grubby, just go for it. I don't.
Hey, Medara, it was very enjoyable to watch your team and you play. Always a big fan of your Hanzo play.
Thank you.
You're representing the Dragon Strikers across the world.
yeah.
And we actually got a chance to jump into comms. I want to know what percentage of your Dragon Strike is aimed at damage and what percentage is aimed at corralling the opponent into a certain area for your scatters to be more effective and for your team to have more predictability in where the enemy team is coming from. Because you're using them that way, right?
Yeah. And in a game like that, I'd have to say like 80% of my arrows are mostly just zoning. Like especially when they've got the Leoric and Tomb. If I see that, I'm just gonna throw it down there as a zoning tool. I'm not really expecting to get kills with it, but when I see, in the top left, Hanzo's killed someone and I don't remember shooting anything at them, I do a little like high five to myself for picking this ult that everyone hates.
80% unironic zoning, fantastic. And then Junkrat, we have been seeing maybe 80% people going for trap build, and I believe you played the Junkrat.
I played it in
Junkrat
Towers
once,
of Doom.
Yeah, so it was 3 times traded, and 1 time you represented the
Q
quest
build,
build
yeah,
together for. Yeah. And I figure, hey, I think I got you figured out. You're a quest junkie, aren't you?
Oh my gosh, when I hear those dings, it just does something, man. I think if I could turn dings on every skill shot, I wouldn't ever miss.
Oh man, that'd be a really good ad for Heroes. I love that noise as well. I'm right there with you, my friend.
Right?
Just if you go into ARAM, you see Tychus, you see Zul'jin, you're like, I gotta go for the thing that makes the dings happen.
Exactly.
So I absolutely agree with you, my friend. I'm right there.
Why no level 7 Greymane quest?
Oh.
Okay, that's a very good question. He has 2 really nice stacking quests. And I mean, one of them, when you die, you just get to hear the dings again. How can you beat that? But in a game like that, I think the extra range is a little nice when you're trying to just pew down the backliners. But
it was a hard decision.
I mean, it's breaking my heart. I think there was probably 30 seconds before I took that level 7 just because I was staring at it going over in my head.
Oh, we don't want
Respect.
to break your heart any further, my friend. We're gonna let you go play as many ARAMs or questing talents as you possibly want to. But before you run out of here, I want to open up the floor. Any shoutouts that you'd like to give? It's all for you.
Yeah, huge shout out to the team, Oxygen. You guys are all absolutely insane. Huge shout out to you guys for putting this all on. Shout out to Twitch chat. We wouldn't do it without you guys. Huge shout out to the boys. You know who you are. That's about it.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Medara. You have a wonderful evening. Good luck in your scrims leading into your matchup next week against Diamond Hands, and we'll see you in that best of 5 series. Have a good week.
Yep, thank you. Adios.
Thank you for joining us. It's a nice little interview. The man, Grubby, you called the man out immediately. It's just like, do you like the questing talents? And he's just like, look, I'm not gonna lie to you all. You called me out, absolutely. Let's go ahead and look
30 seconds.
He even was just like, I really wanted that talent, but I also really want to win the series. So let's look at what happened today in all of our matches. We started up the day with Chili Mountain versus Diamond Hands, and Diamond Hands were shut down. They were frozen by the members of Chili Mountain in a 3-0 fashion. We almost saw the same thing happen in Storm Esports versus Oxygen Esports, but Storm had a little bit of life on that Cursed Hollow map. Unfortunately, Oxygen shut it down in map number 4 on Tomb of the Spider Queen, and Oxygen took that series in a 3-1 fashion. Grubby, we've been talking about it all day. Here are our updated standings. What are your thoughts on this?
So we see the standings here in terms of match score. What we don't see is maps. It's +4 in map differential for Storm and 30K, and they're facing each other next week. The maps no longer matter. They will, whoever wins goes on top. It can be 3-0, it can be 3-2, doesn't matter between those. As for Chili Mountain, they're up against Simplicity. If they get a 3-0 victory, they'll be 4-2 and +6, which puts them over the loser of Storm 30K, but not over the winner of. So Chili Mountain has a kind of a backdoor chance of maybe being top 3. Today's results weren't that good for them in terms of what happened with Storm and 30K, I suppose. As for Oxygen, they're facing Diamond Hands. Diamond Hands already has no chance to go to top 3. Oxygen, I'm trying to think, do they still have a chance? Liquipedia guys say that they do.
Yep.
Simplicity is... Oh, please, McIntyre.
I was just going to say, I mean, I may be spitballing here, but I think they have to 3-0 and then Storm has to lose 0-3 next week. And then it's possible, I think, 1 game differential.
Maybe. If we look back at previous weeks, go ahead.
It'll be equal. They'll both be +1. And then the individual result between them will matter. And how did Oxygen Storm go? They just won.
Yep. Bingo.
3-0, 0-3, and Oxygen can still make it.
Matt, looking at all of these standings, there's a lot to discuss here. But you know what else we can discuss is McIntyre's supportive play of the day.
Yep, let's talk about PSD support play of the day. It's going to be game number 3 in the Chili Mountain versus Diamond Hands series. We started the day talking about that today would be bananas. And indeed, in this play, Banana Agent showing us what a Banana Uther can do. What we're going to see is actually Cattle hitting a hook. And if we pause right here before the hook happens, what will happen after the hook lands is what is so impressive to me. We're going to see Bad Benny trying his best to stop the Stitches that has now gorged the target that he's hooked. And we'll watch Banana H hit a perfect cleanse, a perfect D-shield to stop any attempt that Bad Benny has. We can play. The hook will come out onto the Dahaka. Gorge happens. First cleanse. Cocoon. D-shield, no thanks. See you later, nerd. And Dahaka stuck in the dead zone. This just allows, not only Chili Mountain to get a lead in the team fight, but then collapse on the rest of Diamond Hands. Now this is a 4v5. Another hook connecting from Gattle. So disgusting. Follow up from Chili Mountain here. Able to close out their series 3-1. Or 3-0, sorry, because of this. So really well played. I think Banana just, goes to show you what a good support player and a support play of the day can really do, right? Typically, Uther players might cleanse the obvious, but in this case, cleanses properly on the first CC attempt and then D-shields on the Cocoon when he needs to. Just back-breaking play from a support player and really just showing if you're going to play against Chili Mountain, watch out for that Uther pick because of how they just effectively he plays it.
Absolutely banana plays from Banana. And don't forget, you can get yourself a wonderful pair of banana underwear from PSD. Exclamation point PSD will get you over to the curated wisdom list of underwear. And if you'd like to, well, check out some underwear and get a pair of your own, you can use wisdom at checkout for 20% off of your order. That is WISDOM. And then make sure you do that exclamation point PSD in chat to get yourself over to that list. The banana underwear, absolutely bananas, just like that play. Thank you, McIntyre, for your support play of the day. We've looked at a lot of things from today. We've looked at the standings from this weekend. Let's look forward into next weekend and find out what we're going to be seeing. We've talked about this a lot. 30K versus Storm Esports. What's going to happen between this matchup? Who's going to take the 3-0, or will it go to a Game 5? There's only two options. There's no in-between for these two teams. The second match on our Saturday will be Diamond Hands up against Oxygen Esports. This will be another one that's really, really impactful. These are some big games next weekend, and it is going to be an exciting weekend of games, Grubby.
Yes, it definitely is. I mean, that second match is so important for Oxygen. It's so exciting that they need 3-0 victory there. As for 30K and Storm, I mean, that's the decider. The match score matters. It's like a knockout in that sense. So it's going to be great games. It's the final weekend of the regular season before we take a small break and we go to the playoffs. You don't want to miss this. You do
not want to miss next weekend. You don't want to miss any of the games from this weekend. They were awesome. They were really, really fun. But I want to get McIntyre's. What's your closing thoughts from today's Sunday matches?
I think that we were just ready, really excited for a season finale, right? This is like that last episode of a show. You don't really watch the end credits, right? You don't really want to know, but you know something is going to happen next week. And I guess that's the exciting part for me, right? To figure out who is going to come out on top here at the end of the season. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to it as well. Grubby, what are your closing thoughts from today's games?
I've seen mostly teams that struggle to play with normal tanks do really good with Stitches. Today was actually the opposite. Oxygen did really good with Junkrat and with Anubarak and Tyrael, and the Stitches one kind of fell flat. So we still, even now, see stylistic changes between teams. We see teams being strong at one thing and weaker at another, and I think that's interesting because they're not all good at the same thing. We are going to see different drafts. You do have teams needing to study one another and banning appropriate things. I think that's sick, and we're going to see more of that next weekend.
You made a perfect point, Grubby, and I would agree with you on this one factor is just there's a lot of studying happening into each other's teams and a lot of just priority bans and considerations in these matches that are going to determine who our number 2 and 3 slots are in the standings. The only one that's locked in currently for that top 3 is Simplicity. Storm, 30K, Chili Mountain, Oxygen, they're the ones who can shift around. Wildheart, Diamond, Granite are all kind of in that 6-7 ace spot, and they're kind of stuck down there. So we'll see how things shape up next weekend. This weekend was absolutely amazing. We'll see you on June 19th and 20th for the Week 7 of HeroesCCL. That weekend will start at 1 o'clock PDT, 4 o'clock EDT, and 22 CEST. Thank you all so much for joining us for week number 6 of HeroesCCL. Thank you again to PSD for sponsoring us. Make sure you hit exclamation point PSD in chat. We also want to take a quick second to thank you for all of the donations for HeroesCCL. If you'd like to check out the custom match arena page, exclamation point prize pool will get you over there. But I'm done rambling for you all this weekend. Thank you all so much for joining us for HeroesCCL. I've been Bahamut, joined by Grubby and McIntyre, and we'll see you in the Nexus. Good night.